All right. Hey, guys, gals, non-binary pals. My name's Andrew Otway, and it is my immense pleasure to bring you, possibly session one of the Burning Wheel. We're going to firm up some character details. Anything that sort of wasn't hashed out in the last week, because we're all adults and we've all got day jobs. And sometimes you don't have time to pretend or to figure out what your pretend vintner has seen in their life to date. And then hopefully we can dive in, start rolling some dice, and making lives complicated. But as mentioned, my name is Andrew Otway, and the rest of you folks should introduce yourselves.
We really need to develop a firm order for that, I feel like.
It's the member order, so Adam's first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just okay. Okay, sorry, I was messing around with Twitch still. Make sure it's working. Hi, I'm Adam. I want to buy the whole city. That's what my main goal in life. Just buy everything.
Buy everything.
All right, we got a merchant for sure. Capitalism, ho. Hi, y'all. I'm Mike Jorgensenberg. I'm going to be playing Margareta Fabrieri. I don't know if I have an Italian accent worth anything, but we'll see what happens. I promise she's not dull again.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach. He, him pronouns. I am playing Indiso, the vintner, who has definitely always been above board and a super stand-up guy, for sure.
Awesome. I feel like we've got an interesting... I feel like we've learned something about everybody already. Let's say. Set in the north in an isolated region, messed up personal ambitions. Inquisition Rebellion was a no. By episode 20, the city is gone, probably. I remember taking all these notes.
They're all very accurate to all of our campaigns.
Yeah, we started going through the lists of cities we'd demolished or otherwise relocated.
Yeah.
Awesome. So does anyone want to sort of do their... Oh, does anyone have any character stuff that they still need to hash out?
I have many questions.
Okay.
I'm sure, yeah. Also, if someone more knowledgeable, I dropped my .char file in the legacy Google Drive folder. If you can pull it up to make sure I'm on the right track with making a character while people ask questions, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Oh, you can put it in the Heroku app. I get it.
Yeah,
You can
so you can
upload it.
Yeah.
re-import it.
Oh, you know, I bet I
Pretty
could probably just look those up in this lovely book. I've only made it through a few of the letters of the... Oh my god, there are so many lists.
I could have just uploaded the file through Discord. I didn't even think about that.
It is a
There are
very
so
lovely
many
book.
lists.
Wow.
It's a gorgeous book.
Okay, so they did the thing that I needed them to do.
Neat. Good job, them.
So the Y section, your eminence, your grace, and your lordship. I have different understandings of what those titles mean than the book does, but the book very clearly says that eminence is for viscounts and counts, grace is for dukes and bishops, and lordship is for lower nobility.
Yeah. Essentially, we all have to call you that thing.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't call you that thing can be subject to immediate social sanction by you. And some of them help you qualify for like social positions like life paths you wouldn't be able to get to.
Yeah.
Oh, but like, they also imply ownership of a county.
Or, I mean, you know, the ability to claim ownership of a county.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if I wanted to and had the army, I could go take that county.
Yeah.
Right? And like be recognized as the ruler of.
So theoretically, you shouldn't both be your lordship and a bastard.
I think you
no.
need to be.
Yeah, you can. I think a bastard comes with it, or something like it. The bastard comes with a title.
There are a few life paths, I believe, that relate to bastardhood.
Okay. Oh, right, because you can only take the traits at the discounts.
Yeah.
So I'm born noble. So
Yeah.
that gives me mark of privilege, your lordship, your grace, and your eminence. I must take your marker privilege, but it gives me access to lordship, grace, and eminence. Right. Okay. I need 30 seconds to rework my character concept.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay,
I mean-
so then I can go to my question real quick.
Yep.
I have 4 physical stats that I have no idea what they do in any context because I have no skills that use them.
Okay.
So what would they be used for otherwise?
So power is how strong you are. Fort is how tough you are, essentially. It's strength and constitution, almost straight across.
Okay.
Agility is coordination, and speed is speed. Right? So speed makes you harder to hit, agility makes you hit other things more easily. Fort makes you hit harder, power makes you hit harder, and fort makes you live through getting hit more often.
So I don't see my character actually like taking a swing at anyone.
Yeah, then I mean, I would just sort of distribute them. I mean, looking at your sheet right now, you've only got 13 physical points, which is not a ton.
No.
That's 4 in each, and
Yeah. Well, no, it's
3 in each, and 4
in one of them,
Yeah.
right? So you're kind of a weakling anyway. I would just pick one stat that you wanted to have. Like, do you want to be about average toughness? Do you want to be about average strength? Do you want to be about average speed? And put the 4 in that one, and the 3s just distribute. Because, like you said, none of your skills key off them.
Right.
Also, just a thing I am noticing looking at your character sheet. Writing and reading are 2 things you do not have.
Oh, those are skills.
Those are skills.
Wait, so I need to have forgery and reading and writing?
Now, bearing in mind that I believe you can read and write without the skills. It's just that you suck at it, right? Like having like 5 or 6 dice in writing is how you get like illuminated manuscripts.
Well, and
Right?
like how you hide codes and
Yes.
things you're writing.
Like a spy would, Mike. Like a
Yeah.
spy.
Yeah. Yeah, right now my spy is effectively illiterate despite everything else.
Which, I mean, because you're the kind of spy who eavesdrops on conversations and says back what you saw. You don't, like, do dead drops and reports and whatnot. If you don't have read and write.
I also have a 4 in forgery, so I probably should figure out.
Let's see what forgery is the ability to copy documents, signatures, and seals flawlessly. So you can like look at something and recreate it, but you might have no idea what the hell it says.
Yeah.
And also in
Sorry.
forgery, you fork in read and write, so that's how you can use it to get extra dice on forgery checks.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You can probably fork reading and writing into forgery, so opening it up would make you better at forgery, essentially. Even if you didn't put any points in reading and writing, and were just like the baseline skill at it, having it would make you a better forger.
Okay. So I need to pick up reading and writing.
Yep, good old general skill points. I don't think I have reading or writing either, but I'm fine with that, actually.
So general skill points.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I properly spent all 20 of my skill points.
So some of them will be life path, and then according to where you were born, some will be general.
Right. So, but what does that mean?
So life path skills can be used on skills that you opened, like that you acquired from your life paths. So like, excuse me, the Vintner has whatever the skill for Vintner is. I think it's actually just Vintner.
It's just called Vintner, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Vintner.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can spend points outside of these skills.
Yes, your general ones.
But how does it know?
Know which.
No, the character burner worksheet, like it should know.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'll.
it pulls them automatically from the right categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it doesn't know spy, what category spies are. So how's it going to know?
Oh, true.
Oh,
Spies
okay.
in there.
I mean, we can add those in. It's one life path. We can add it in manually at the
Yeah,
end.
we can figure that out.
I mean, I added spy. I typed the words to make it happen.
Yeah. So the character sheet in Roll20 doesn't have any compendium or anything.
No.
And then the app we're using, the web thing, just uses the baseline stuff. So I mean, yeah, it's not much to add the one life path worth of skills. And for those of you playing the home game, we are using a semi-official looking spy life path that we found online, and it seems fine. It's probably going to be fine.
What is the little X mark? Oh, the X mark is if it's cross class, right?
I think you
Across
want them. You want open skills, and you want required skills. So required skills are the first skill in every life path you have to take. To be a vintner, you need to do vintner. To be a spy, it's probably like observation or maybe stealthy.
And it's only the first skill in the life path that's required.
Yes.
Oh, also
So
the like perception X agility is if it's a split skill.
Split's the word I was looking for. Okay. So I've added reading and writing, and I believe if I just put numbers there, that'll properly. Cool, it does.
Is there a point to not spending all your recess points, or should you just blow those all right away?
Your starting resources, I think you want to spend functionally all of. Like, you don't get to carry anything over, and I think you can buy cash, which is like a one-time boost.
Oh yeah, I bought the cash already.
Yeah. So looking at your sheet, Adam, you've got a property, a moderate-sized business, villa or farm. You've got your shoes, your finery, your personal effects. You've got a relationship with your brother. This is the head of the Royal Guard. Nice. Might I suggest a romantic relationship? It'd be cheaper.
With my brother? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a Lancaster, not Lancaster, Lannister.
You can go full Lannister, and it
Yours.
just makes the relationship cheaper.
Yeah, so the weirder your relationships get, the cheaper they are. Like I have my cousin, who is a lady in waiting was a lady in waiting to the princess who decided just died, right? But she's moderately important, not super important, but moderately important in the court. But she is she's family, so she's slightly cheaper. She's romantic, so she's slightly cheaper, and then that was forbidden, so she's slightly cheaper, right? So the weirder you make the relationship, the cheaper it is. If you want your brother to hate you,
Yeah.
or be a rival to you, that makes it cheaper too.
No, I'm
Sorry.
unless there's like something else I'm trying to work for. I'm not like strapped for the points enough to need him to hate me yet.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, because you're sitting with 15. If we can spend those 15 on property, you actually get another point in your resource pool, or you get another die when you roll it. Which,
Holy crap! You'll have 7 resources.
which will make you more. It will make you richer essentially. If we spend that last 15 on property or a reputation. I don't think relationships work. Maybe affiliations do. Is there like a guild, a merchant's guild that you're part of?
Or a lollipop guild?
There could be a guild. I don't know what's the better use of points. I could have because right now I consider the property villa. So I could have my business front, a villa, and a farm if I wanted another one of those.
Yeah, you could.
I don't know. If I get more dice for either one, it doesn't matter if there's a guild or a farm.
Yeah, I think it's affiliation, property, or reputation that will all get you, and it's every 15 points you get another one, right? So I think you're right on the cusp. So if you spend another 15 points on another villa or farm, you would get that next thing up. If you want to instead pick a reputation, but you can't quite have. There's no 15-point reputation. There's a 20-point reputation.
25.
Affiliation rather. So we would need to make your brother your hateful gay lover, and it's all fine. We can afford.
Yeah, but that's still only 8 points max. I get back. I would need 10.
So yeah, we and you can massage a little bit, but if you just want to go like the most direct path, yeah, having a second villa that you're like, or a farm, just a farm somewhere that grows something, as another piece of property would get you to. And bearing in mind that like 7 resources is a lot, 6 resources is also kind of a lot. You don't have to do this either. You could like, ooh, you could buy a ship. I don't even know. We decided they came across the ocean, right? Is there an ocean right there or a bay?
I think we're at a mountain pass, like a mountain valley.
Boats are not super useful in the mountains.
Less than you may imagine, yeah.
Relationship. Affiliation goes 25. Reputation is 7 to 25. Yeah, I don't know. If you want it, then yeah, I would probably just like buy another villa or like poke around and turn my property moderate-sized business into. Let's see what we got here. So moderately sized business is 30 resources. A successful small business is 60. So if you lived at your business,
Yeah. I mean, you said you were going to kind of play off the fact that the winery or whatever you run is part of my.
Yeah, I think that maybe we have like, because I've also bought a villa/farm.
Okay.
So I think maybe you own the actual like the what's the word for it? I should know this because I'm playing Old Vintner. We'll look this up later. But like the place they grow the grapes,
Vineyard,
the grapery,
Yeah.
vineyard.
Grapery is way funnier.
Grapery. So in my head, this guy doesn't know what he's doing either, which is going to make this way easier for me. And he will probably refer to it as the grapery.
you have like I'm assuming you have like
grape
5
juice.
dice in Vintner. You're like, yeah, the grapery I work at.
Exactly. Vintner is my highest skill. Yeah, so let's go through.
He's the best vintner because he's the only vintner in town. He's got a monopoly on the.
Exactly, right? Like I am the toast of the town because you can't toast with anyone else's stuff. I have 5 dice in Vintner, 4 in Persuasion, 4 in Falsehood, and then my skills get smaller from there. I'm gonna be so good at this. Yeah, let me look up. Let me make sure look up what my resources stuff is.
I'm trying to figure out starting resources, and I can't find it in the book.
Okay, so yeah, I have a small business that I'm assuming is either like mostly subsumed by your business. That's that I've named Short Run Vintages, and then a farmer villa with bespoke grape production. Maybe you are helping me expand. Maybe you've hired me to like come in and oversee your grapery as it produces wine. Also, I have clothes and shoes.
I wish I could be mad at you for making grapery a thing.
But you can't. Just can't be mad.
Look at all these lovely graperies.
Oh, graperies.
All right.
Yeah, I still have to do beliefs yet.
Okay.
I have 1 belief and I have 1 instinct, and that is to always accept a drink if offered or inquire if none is.
I love your instinct. Yeah. Yep. I mean, what else can you tell me about it in DSO, and maybe that helps us. I also love how your name is Dilavino and you still just grapery. Like in DSO of the Vine, where'd you work? The grapery.
The grapery.
The grapitude.
The grapitude for higher vinos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Vino or Indiso came from nothing, or not quite nothing. He's city born, so he probably had like a fairly well family. Granted, my cousin is like in the court, so it can't be like a complete scrub from
Yep.
the mountains. But then like my second life path was poisoner, right?
Sure.
Or I think it went that way. Anyway, so my life paths are poisoner, or are born city, or city born, poisoner, court chef, vintner, right? So I think what actually happens is I don't, like, I have a falling out with my family. Maybe something bad happens to my family. Maybe I just walk away from that whole thing. Wind up on the street for some reason. And fall in with a bad crowd. That's also, like, culinarily inclined somehow.
Tell me more about this group of, like, foodie anarchists.
It's like a street gang of people in chef's hats.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So they're French. They're French revolutionaries.
We're begetting people.
There's another one. Begetting people from your grapery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think, yeah, maybe they're like a troupe of traveling chefs. I've seen the world on the back of this like food carnival that I traveled with, right?
I've seen flays you wouldn't believe.
Mm-hmm. I'm the Guy Fieri of wine.
I was gonna say, I've seen souffles you couldn't believe. Champagne's glittering in the...
Oh, Jesus. So yeah, I was with these people. I was like a short order something. I was on the line.
You were a poisoner.
Well, yeah. So I think what that was either unintentional, or yeah, I was learning at the knee of someone who was like anarchist cookbooking me, essentially. I also should say that I have a relationship with the old lady in the mountain.
Okay.
Which I thought maybe like I was supposed to be an acolyte for her, and it went really bad, and like I had to bail and run away. My trait, which might tie in here, is actually one of them that I had 3 points laying around. Instead of taking character traits, which I probably should, I took Dreamer instead.
Oh, good.
So I have prophetic dreams.
Yes, you do.
So I think that makes me of interest to her.
Yes.
And we have like some sort of like long-standing connection. Probably because I was a kid born in the city and they tried to turn me into an acolyte and I failed like everybody else does. But I took it real bad and turned to poisoning.
I'm trying to figure out, like, yeah, a little more of this path.
Well, you know how like kids run off and join the circus?
Mm-hmm. You ran off and joined a poisoning circle.
You know how old you are when you end City Born?
8?
You're 12.
Oh, wow.
You're
and
12.
And then the 1 year lead into poisoner, so you're 13 when you start being a poisoner?
13 stirring a pot on the back of a truck. Then I came back. I made my way back after associating with these people and like fomenting rebellion or not, or like just generally causing havoc. And my cousin got me a job somehow. Like somehow we hooked back up. And my cousin like either felt sorry for me or like we actually like almost hooked up. And then she like, oh shit, you're actually my cousin. And then
which apparently didn't stop anything.
Well, okay, so it's romantic and forbidden. In my head, it's never been consummated, and it's sort of standoffish in that like chivalric sort of.
But it's romantic.
Star-crossed romance sort of way where it hasn't happened yet. That whole thing hasn't really gone down, right?
I'm expecting there's like lady in waiting sending you like letters you can't read.
Exactly. Exactly. I can smell her perfume and like see the lipstick or whatever the equivalent is on them.
Well, and then you like mail back a vintage, right? with an X on it because you also can't write. And you try to keep the poison bottles separate from the not poison bottles.
Well, those are labeled with a giant skull and crossbones.
Exactly.
So. The giant cartoon skull and crossbones.
Thank you. Oh, mercy.
So yeah, I come back to court.
Yep.
I do that for a little while. And then after having like reestablished, and it might not be clear to everyone that I am the same person, besides my cousin, right? Like, it might be that she's the only one that remembers me as being this like kid from the city who ran away when he was 13. And then I sort of leverage that somehow into a job making wine somewhere nearby, and then stuff happens, and now I own a winery.
Well, like, yeah, apparently you're, like, a competent vintner.
I'm all right. I'm a way better vintner than cook. I actually didn't unlock cook.
Good.
So I've just been cooking with my perception score this whole time.
Wait, what's the required skill for court chef?
Oh, is it cook? Maybe I do have cook.
I don't know. Like, I legitimately...
Maybe I do have cook. That would be a I do have cook. I have cook it too.
Okay. So you're a bad cook.
I'm a terrible cook. I'm bad at everything but wine and sort of lying. That's it. Everything else is terrible.
God. Great.
Andrew, what are the social combat traits?
Traits?
Or skills, I guess.
Skills are going to be things like, depending on where and how you're doing social combat, Ugly Truth comes up a lot, Persuade comes up a lot. If you're more religious than, like... If you're more religious than Suasion is basically persuasion, but religious in nature. There's things like oratory if you're talking to an entire crowd and trying to convince them. Ugly Truth seems like a thing a spy should have.
I definitely have Ugly Truth.
Interrogation.
Yeah.
I'm just reading on the body of argument, like how to create a body of argument, which seems like a good place to start, right?
Yes.
For the duel of wits, which is not a thing we're going to be using for a little while, probably. It's coarse persuasion, interrogation.
Let me get my character sheet up. My character notes over here, so I can get them written down. All right. So what you got? What are they?
Okay. So coarse persuasion, interrogation, oratory, persuasion, poisonous platitudes, rhetoric, or stentorious debate are the ones that you sort of build your...
You only need one of those.
One of those.
I only need one of those.
Yes.
In order to do this specific thing that I'm talking about, which is like the long form, let's have a weird platonic debate that we come out the other side with a definitive answer and actionable consequences.
A binding answer is another important feature of the body of the
Poisonous platitudes, orcs only.
Yep.
Yeah, poisonous stentorious debate I believe is dwarves only as well. So
yeah, I believe it is. Yes.
You probably want either persuasion, interrogation, oratory, or suasion if you're going religious.
I am not going religious.
Okay.
Although this character is influenced by what's her face from Dragon Age.
Liliana.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I was gonna say Cassandra because that'd be awesome.
Cassandra's also good.
Cassandra's the greatest.
So extortion is another skill that gets used.
I believe I already have extortion.
I would not be surprised if you already
have extortion at 4.
Suasion is the, like I said, like Andrew said, the religious version of that. Falsehood.
Falsehood is also a thing a spy might want to have.
You're probably not going with religious diatribe.
I have bribe-wise, extortion, falsehood, firearms, foraging, forgery, inconspicuous, observation, orienteering, stealthy sword, ugly truth, read and write.
Okay.
I wonder how many
So-
sword and like firearms types people we will actually encounter in this campaign. Like, if you sort of put into the world or beliefs that there might be a bunch, then there can be a bunch. I'm just
Yeah,
There we go.
I feel, yeah. Sorry. Let me talk over you.
no. Go ahead.
I mean, I feel like if I run into somebody who has like sword skill and they have a sword and they want to sword me, I'm dead. I'm dead. Almost instantly. Like there's no fight there. At the same time, if you are planning on sorting people, most of your skills can start fairly low and you can like fail your way into like not sucking at them. But if we're doing like single roll swords tests, being good at not dying the first time around is probably a solid call.
Makes you
It
good at
fits-
not dying.
Food for thought.
It fits my mental concept
Great.
of what a lady of the court spy master would be able to do, or
Mhm.
spy mistress or spy. Like I'm going to, if I spent some time being a scout in the military to learn how to be the blackmailer and spy that I am for my liege or whoever I'm reporting to, then I should have at least a couple points in sword. I'm thinking about knocking 2 points off for like interrogation, and then this character becomes scarier over time, which I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
I'm loving also how, just looking at your character burner in Roll20, how you got the most money in life from where you were born. 15 resource points from being born, and then like 22 from the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Also, I went in and added the leads. Basically, anytime you change setting, so moving from noble to the military setting, you add 1 year for a lead to get from being a noble to getting into the military.
Oh, see, I wasn't aware of what leads were.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. It's the time it took you to get from one setting to another.
So I am now older than I thought I was.
Yeah,
23.
you're 23. You are still young.
Gasp. God, I'm not old enough to feel old, right?
I'm also
want
trying
you
to
to
see
hear-
if you get stat points for being born noble, because you may. Let me double check.
Sure. I don't believe so.
Vanish, blah, blah, blah.
I got 1 physical for scout, 1 mental for blackmailer, and 1 each for spy.
Okay.
I really wish there was a button here to let me sort my skills. It bothers me a great deal that there's not a button.
There's a lot of setup in this game, and then it just starts chugging away, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Interrogation.
Peasant
Bar.
villager.
Willpower.
Where's the noble setting?
I will take.
I like how leads anywhere. Not. Okay.
Yeah. You can be whatever you want,
Yeah.
including an urchin. You can go from there to urchin.
But that's a
Whatever.
good story. What happened? I ceased being a noble.
Yeah. Money ran out.
Okay, so I want at least 1 point in interrogation,
Okay.
perhaps 2. What is the skill that I should decrement in order to increment that one?
Excellent use of that word, by the way. Good job.
That's a very good question. I mean, what do you think you'll be doing the least of? Or I mean, what fits the bill of being like a thing that you might not be great at?
Does Darling of the Court and Inconspicuous, they seem a bit
It can be useful to be both, honestly.
Yeah.
contradictory. Okay.
Like, conspicuous is great when you need a crowd to look at you.
It's not about picking up Darling of the Court.
That's a trait.
Yeah.
It's a 3-point trait, but it gives
Wow.
you +1 on your reputation.
Yeah,
Oh,
it should
wow.
It would make my Vintner reputation 3D at at court,
Goodness.
which I felt like, though completely undeserved, would be a good combo.
Mike,
for
is
my
it
character.
Air of Innocence or is it Aura of Innocence? Because I think
that's
you might actually have the Aura of Innocence. Which, there
I
is
do.
the Aura reading skill, which, like, can tell you truths about a person, except yours is just like, oh yeah, this person's a perfect, beautiful angel.
Yeah, yeah. Who would never do horrible things?
Never.
No.
Ooh, that's a really good one too. Yeah.
All right, Vince. Yeah, I picked up your lordship because it was way cheaper for me than Bastard. So you got to deal with it.
Are you not required to have both of those? Also, Adam,
Nope.
do you have any
Yes.
questions, comments, concerns?
I've
wanna
been
neglect you.
transcribing my character into Roll20, so
Okay.
I don't have anything new yet.
Okay. And Zach, can you put your stuff into the character burner tab of your character sheet? Not
Oh, okay,
now,
yeah.
but like eventually. Just so it's all in one spot. And
Definitely. I will do that. Right now, yeah.
cool.
I've been working on trying to figure out my.
No rush. Just a thing that's nice to have.
Yep.
I don't know how to roll dice out of this character sheet thing.
Let's see. If you go to stats and skills,
Just hit the dice.
It didn't add your skill.
Oh, don't just hit the dice. What the? There we go. Yeah. Some of them they do.
That's very interesting.
Does anybody other character sheet have those things?
You might have to add your skills into the list. Yeah. Interrogation.
Who's in Uso di Lovino? That's Zach. Did you add the skills in?
Hmm?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you added them in manually by typing in.
Yeah. I just had to go through and put them in.
Modifiers 0. Artha 0. I don't know what any of those mean.
So modifiers are things that make the test easier, give you extra dice.
But what's Artha? Wait,
Artha is narrative currency and kind of experience. There's 3 flavors of Artha. Fate, which is super common, and you can spend it to make a roll open-ended, which basically makes your 6s explode. If the roll was already open-ended, so like any stat test, I believe, is open-ended by default. Sorcery tends to be open, stuff like that. So if the roll was already open, then you can spend 1 fate on it and re-roll a failure.
Gotcha.
You can spend Persona, which is you get Persona for accomplishing a belief. You can spend Persona, and that, like, you can spend it, and I just can't kill you if I was about to deal a mortal blow. If you can spend Persona and get an extra die on a test that you really want to pass. You can spend Persona and ask the dark powers for assistance in a roll.
Cool.
And that starts like incrementing corruption, which like comes with physical mutations and other chaosy stuff. And then the rarest kind of Artha are deeds points, which you get from sort of taking like a core belief of your character and inverting it almost. So like a good example for your character would be if you were like, you know what, maybe these fucking nobles don't deserve to rule this province anymore, and I'm going to go help out those nice capitalists.
Yes.
Yeah. But like that's how you get a deeds point, and deeds points are very, very potent.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to trying to decide which one of these skills to decrement for interrogation.
Okay.
And then I have to figure out relationships, or resources, excuse me.
All right.
Adam.
Yes. Still here.
No, I assumed that there was I could segue that into something of, am I a better shot or a better swords lady?
I mean, so let's ask you a couple of general questions about your military service as a scout.
Okay.
While a scout for however many years that was, did you take any lives?
3.
So 3 years,
that
and
was-
then 1
that
to
was
get over to
easy.
blackmailer, so 4.
Okay. Belle was a gun lady, so I will decrement firearms briefly.
Okay. Do you want to know how you can improve it? Shooting people.
I
Yep.
know, but like, oh. Wait, we're in like the firearm district, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're in Guntown.
Guntown.
This is Guntown.
So, how does the root combination work? Like, so like firearms, for example, is perception and agility.
Yes. So you take the average of perception and agility, and that's your base skill level.
half of
Okay,
that.
so
Oh, half of it? So you take the
Yeah.
average and round it down?
Mhm.
Or, sorry, you take the average and then halve it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, a perception of 6 gives you a base perception skill of 3. Cool.
okay, so like if my perception and agility are 6 and 5, so I guess that's
2.
cool.
Yep. It's a real bummer. It's a real bummer to go from 6s to 2s. That's physical skills. The skills ending even skills seem really useful. To be perfectly honest, seems like probably the way you want to go if you can.
So I need to either
Even attribute each other.
my physical pool and my mental pool are odd. It's unfortunate. I'll have to pick one of the life
Yeah.
at this point in time.
That's how it is. Sometimes you can't. I have 3s in all my physical stats, I think.
Well, so if everybody has their steel and their health, I believe, there's a few questions I can pose you.
I guess I have that. Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah.
And Mike, do you have your health?
I believe so. Average of will and forte. Yes, I do.
Okay. So, here are some questions that may modify your current health score. Does the character live in squalor and filth?
Do I need to know my wealth for that?
No, just like, do you live in a gutter?
No.
Cool. Zach?
No, I have a pretty nice life.
And
No.
Adam?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So no one subtracts 1 from their health. Is the character frail or sickly?
Nope.
Nope.
Cool, so no one else subtracts 1. Was the character severely wounded in the past?
Probably not.
Okay.
My portrait has a cool little eye scar, but I'm addicted to eye scars.
And Zach? Adam?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Has the character been tortured and enslaved?
No.
No.
I don't know. That sounds pretty awesome. I mean, not awesome, but like,
I don't think you have any slave life paths or anything. Like, there is a
Yeah.
slave setting.
You could have been tortured. Like, you could have been captured and tortured as part of your military stuff. But
yeah. We'll go with no because it's slightly easier for now.
Okay. Is the character athletic and active?
Yes.
Zach?
I don't really see that being a reasonable thing, honestly.
Adam?
No. I'm kind of getting a portly shopkeep in mind right now.
So Mike, add 1 to your health.
My physical pool is absurd.
Yeah.
And does the character... This is verbatim. Does the character live in a really clean and happy place, like the hills in The Sound of Music?
No.
Zach?
How nice is your villa, Adam?
My villa's real nice.
Is
Is
it
it
happy?
like-
Is your
Is it
is your
sound of... Yeah. Is the sound of
I've never
music?
seen The Sound of Music, so
Doe? A deer?
I mean, I'm
A
familiar
female
with
deer.
it. I've just never actually seen it.
I don't think this one applies to me. I think, like, it could, but it doesn't make any sense now.
You're a poisoner!
I want...
You're in an unrequited relationship with your cousin.
Listen, but we both live in really nice houses. So...
help? I just got a skill from something. Did I get a skill for increasing my health?
I don't know if that would give you a skill, but it might give you...
No.
Oh, I put 1 in your list. I put interrogation in your list.
No, but like I got a skill point.
Oh.
Did you
Interesting.
accidentally decrement something?
Not to my knowledge.
Hmm.
And
I
also
must
to your
have
question,
because my skilled tolls have not increased.
to your question, Andrew, I think prior to the start of this campaign, I'd say yes to that question.
Okay. I then add 1 to your health.
Now it's a shithole.
I mean, things are not as happy now that I've lost, some standing, but
I mean, but like, is it like social standing, or are you like, yeah. Also, base starting steel is B3. Let's go through the steel questions. So, has the character taken a conscript, soldier, bandit, squire, or knight type life path?
I had a scout life path. Does that count?
It's in this professional soldier setting, isn't it?
It's in the professional soldier setting, but I don't know if it was soldiering. I imagine scouts probably didn't get to slack off too much, but steel is like how good you are at keeping your shit together. What sorts of things, like when you were a scout, what sort of wars or battles did you see and or participate in?
I've covered wars,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I went from being a scout to being a blackmailer, so I imagine that my job may have been more being inserted into the courts of other people and doing horrible things to them, and then coming out and being victorious.
Cool. So, add 1 to your steel. Because you've covered wars, Has the character ever been severely wounded? We already answered no to this.
Mm-hmm.
Has the character ever murdered or killed with their own hand?
Define hands. Yeah, but if you stab somebody with a sword, does that count?
I imagine you watch the light of life fade from their eyes and you watch them vomit blood to the rhythm of a fading heartbeat.
I mean, if you sat across the table from someone you just poisoned
Yeah, I mean,
and watch them, writhe on the ground.
Spoilers for Justified. If you justified someone, then yeah, you looked them in the eyes and watched them drink the poison and slowly choke to death in front of you as their, insides melted. Yes.
And then, while continuing to eat your steak.
Right. It's a fine vintage. Yeah.
I've probably done that. Or some version of that.
If they have done so more than once.
Does watching the princess count?
I don't think so.
So it was not intentional?
Well, because also we gave, Adams was the before the inciting incident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I probably don't count.
Okay.
I probably don't.
Okay. Mike, how many people has Margareta killed?
I imagine that it's non-zero and non.
Greater than 1?
I don't know. It's. I have sword and gun ability.
Mm-hmm. And you're not terrible at them? You've got a 4 sword and a 3 gun? 4 gun.
Foreign's gun and 4 sword. That's mostly through physicalness.
Sure.
No, I like that. I'm going to. Yes, I've killed people.
Okay, increase your steel by 1. Has the character been tortured, enslaved, or beaten terribly over the years? I think this was a no for everybody.
Yeah, definitely me. Definitely no for me.
Yeah, no.
Has the character led a sheltered life, free from violence and pain?
No.
No.
I don't see him having a sheltered, noble sheltered kind of life, but I don't think there's been a lot of violence, physical violence.
Okay. I mean,
the hills are alive.
Yeah, if that
Yeah. If yes, reduce steal by 1.
Okay.
You were probably pretty freaked out when this happened.
Has the character... I mean... Or rolls 8 sixes across 2 dice, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm just like...
I was at an escape room on Saturday, and there was a jump scare at one point where like you shut a door and a doll flies out of the ceiling. It hit me in the chest, and I was just like, "Oh, huh."
My favorite escape room that just closed a few months ago was based off the Goonies in this area. Like Chester Cobblepot and like One-Eyed Willie out the wazoo. The last thing that happens is you open the door to escape, and it's through like a sarcophagus, and a giant fuzzy spider comes out like at you, and I turned around and I walked out. It was not like out of any volition. I don't remember doing this, but I was gone. Adam, I think you were there.
Oh yeah, no, I was there.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Nope, done. No, I don't like small spiders. And this spider was fucking huge.
Yo, so quick break, quick Zach freak out break. The guy who is second in line to be speaker if there's a Democratic majority in the U.S. House just lost his primary to a young Latina from the Bronx.
Yes.
Ocasio-Cortez. I am super pumped. It was amazing.
Nice.
Super good work.
Apropos of nothing, has the character been raised in a competitive but non-violent culture? Sports, debate, strategy games, and courting.
I mean, I almost said Belle. Margareta has killed people, so I don't believe that counts as nonviolent.
Well, okay, so raised raised in a nonviolent culture,
Yes.
but competitive, right?
Yes.
Was the noble culture that you were raised in nonviolent but competitive?
I mean, my scout life path started when I was 9.
Okay.
And ended when you were 13.
The tender age of 13, and at which point Margareta became a blackmailer for her father.
So that's a no.
Relationship.
Zach or Adam?
I would say yes for me.
Okay.
Well, see, operating on that logic we just used, I was poisoning people at 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on how much I was raised before that, I guess it's enough.
Okay.
So established.
So Adam, raise your steal by 1. You're on a roller coaster.
Baseline.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has the character given birth to a child?
As part of my backstory, no.
I'm assuming no for Zach and Adam.
I probably.
Like,
I mean, I
physically
did not
birthed.
No. I'm just so bad thinking now. I probably should have like a family or something, I guess.
Yeah, there's a family you should have a relationship with.
I think my character is explicitly forbidden from having children.
Oh
Is
my.
that part of the gig?
I might have to get rid of my brother and develop a family all of a sudden.
So
We can off this guy and have kids instead.
What page are the rules for relationships?
Under resources.
Yeah, it's under the resources section.
I get a wife for 1 point. Okay. I could trade shoes for a wife.
That seems accurate, actually. I'm willing to back that up.
Well, if your
Have you
wife
been through that
also,
whole thing? Yeah. That seems
if
I'm
your
not
wife-
sure what the earshot is like in your situation right now.
right. Well, they can only hear me, so...
Yeah. I'm just wondering, I mean, can you gain resources if your wife also hates you?
So you can't start at a baseline of wife exists for 0 points and then get yourself 2, right? But if your wife is important and also hates you and you buy her as a relationship, you absolutely can get points back for her hating you.
Okay. That's terrible. Okay.
I mean, your wife could be captain of the guard.
Mike, it's
Who
page
hates
93,
you?
I believe.
Page 90 what?
93. Under spending resource points, relationship starts down at the very bottom.
Thank you.
No one has the gifted or faithful trait, I'm assuming.
I thought about going and getting it and decided that I'm just going to roll this time with like minimal weirdness.
Okay.
Says the Vintner Poisoner that works at a grapery.
And has prophetic dreams.
Minimal
See,
weirdness, yo.
I'm considering going with Aura
Minimal weirdness.
instead of Dreamer, but Dreamer's going to be a lot of fun, so I think I'm going
Yes.
to keep it. And also just expecting this guy to die. Like, just straight up, like, this guy's going to get just destroyed.
I try to make poison. Cool, you fail.
Yeah, no, I got black 3. My poison exponent is B3. I'm going to die. It's great.
If your character's perception is 6 or higher. Anyone?
I believe my will is higher than
Yes.
my perception.
My perception is 6.
Okay.
5.
Okay.
4.
Okay. If it's 6 or higher, raise steel by 1.
Oh. Okay.
If the will stat is 5,
I
Nope.
wish. No.
okay. So no one raises for that. If the character's fort
What about
exponent,
it's 5 or higher?
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
then
raised by
yes.
1.
Nice.
7 or higher, raised by 2 instead.
Just the 1.
Okay. You don't have
Just
a
6.
7 will.
No, I got 6. I thought about dropping my perception to like 2 and starting off with like all of my Vintner style skills being super low, but I decided against it.
Okay. And then if the character's fort exponent is 6 or higher.
No.
Okay. Wow, Margreta, you're not especially fortuitous. Fortitudinous.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what that was for, so I dropped it pretty low.
Okay. It's functionally Constitution. You probably don't need it. Just don't
Right,
get
was
hit.
Yeah. That's why I'm inconspicuous. And
Yeah.
I have an aura of innocence.
And a gun.
And a sword.
Well, see, the sword is within receiving hits range.
And a mouthful of ugly truths.
There you go.
The point of the gun is you can shoot them before they can see you. Come on.
Zach, oh Lord of the Book. What page is the basic resources list? And the cost
Which page?
things like shoes?
The Manish resources are after the life paths. They start on page 202.
And so everyone's hesitation is 10 minus their will.
Hesitation.
So hesitation is essentially what you test steel against. So your hesitation is how many heartbeats you freeze, generally speaking. Then that gets modified up or down by how well or poorly you do on the steel test.
Is there somewhere that I need to mark hesitation?
It might be filled in automatically.
Yeah, I don't remember putting it on my sheet actually.
Okay. Oh, it's under stats and skills.
Yep.
Hesitation is 6.
And my steel is 5.
So yeah, you'll be rolling 5 dice against. Yours should be 4 because you have a will of 6.
Okay, that makes sense then. I thought I was doing the math wrong. Cool.
Yeah, lower is better. Because it means you're less likely to freeze when, say, the princess starts melting.
Melting is a very maudlin way of putting it.
What a world, what a world.
Sweet merciful Zeus. Superior quality arms are 20 resources.
Dude, they are expensive. Superior quality guns? Superior guns are like 65. It's crazy.
I just read Zach's second belief.
I'm so good at it too.
Money makes the world go round. I will sell my latest vintage for the exorbitant price it is worth. Oh my god.
I'm not sure I like this guy very much, and I'm basically just setting him up to suffer and fail. So, yeah. Not that I don't like. I'm going to enjoy playing the character. I think I just like personally don't like this person very much.
You don't like the murderous poisoner.
Honestly, like dude's throwing down on some class enemies. I'm kind of okay with that. But he's also like trying to become the petit bourgeois, and I'm not into that. So it goes both ways, really. Oh, I need more instincts. What are my instincts? Always
I think
demand more money.
No, I'm just bad at math. Never mind. Ignore me. I was like, I think Mike should have more physical stats, but no, I'm just bad at math. Always demand more money. Good. That will never get you in trouble.
Love me some Martha. I'm gonna have a giant pile of it when somebody stabs me.
I mean, if you have Persona, then you can just dodge the Reaper.
It's true.
And if you have Persona 5, then you can wait for it to get, like, shitty rainy out, and then the Reaper comes into battle depressed and doesn't do anything and just sits there and then eventually dies and just showers you in money.
I like that last part.
It's a Persona 5 top tip for
I like
you.
that whole reference.
I love edge cases in video games.
A full plate helmet like a salad costs 25 RPS.
Mm-hmm. How you aren't especially rich, if I recall.
Oh no, I did not get the. I half of my money has been spent on sword and gun.
Okay. Do you have a place to live?
I'm working on that.
Okay.
Shack is like one resource, so.
I mean, if you're the official court spy, like the regent, well, it might get difficult because there has been a change in management recently. But before that, you may have been put up somewhere.
Exactly. You had like the company hotel room in town, right? And now you don't anymore.
And you suddenly have to figure out how to pay rent. I really can't wait for the.
I'm clearly doing it by being the hands of these Machiavellian poisoners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zach has money.
I have a fair amount of money, not a ton, but a fair amount.
Okay.
I have like 4 or 5 resources.
Wow.
Mostly because I own a grapery.
Kill me now.
Grapery. Resources. Yeah, I have four resources, which is not huge, but it's also I'm not broke at all.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the 9 I could have been with that one guy, but
What do you do with 9 resources?
you buy a fleet of ships and liberate the South.
I was gonna say you gratiate it and go down to 4, and then buy a fleet of boats.
I think we had that conversation at one point. I'm like, so gray shades on resources. What does that look like?
So mechanics talk briefly. Gray shading is what happens if you start out with some abnormally high skills, and it just makes it cuts 5 off of the quantity of dice you would roll. So it actually just makes you a lot worse at something, but it also eventually gives you a much higher ceiling. And it also just makes your dice better. Like gray shade dice succeed on a 3+ instead of a 4+. But we'll cross that bridge once we've built it out of the corpses of some characters.
So yeah, once somebody gets a deeds point to spend, like it'll be a while.
Okay, so I have 13 resources remaining.
Okay.
Does not include a place to live.
Okay.
That is simply weapons of war and like outfits. 'Cause
Sure.
I need several. Do I need to factor in rent and property, or do I need to start looking at character relationships?
Here's the other thing. If you don't have a place to live, we can address it in the fiction. Like, you used to have a place to live, but there has been a change in management, and maybe that's one of your early beliefs is, the street is no place to live. I will find livable shelter appropriate to my skills and talents or something.
It turns out you got some blackmail on a guy with 3 houses. So...
It's 2 villas and 1 successful business. Thank you.
But the successful business is a cottage industry, so it's just this.
So where do I put my relationships? Is that is that in the resource area, or is there someplace else?
I believe... Actually, let's check. If you go to the information tab, the very first one, and then down the bottom there's relationships.
Oh, fascinating.
There's a mechanic in this game that I really like called circles, which is just how good you are at finding people. So if you're ever like, hey, what I could really use in this situation is someone who knows about skill, or a friend in the court, or something like that. Effectively, the more specific you are, the harder they are to find. But yeah, you roll some dice, and there's pass or fail, you have created a character in this world. But if you fail, either they're not available to you right now, or I get to invoke the enmity clause.
So beautifully named. I love it so much.
Which means they're not on your side. They exist, you find them. But you're Han finding Lando after he's sold out on Cloud City. There's a deal, and it's getting worse all the time.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
But I just love that. Like, it's beautiful. It's
so good. So good. This game like tricks you into making problems for yourself, and like handing the GM fun toys to bash you over the head with.
It's you like putting a hook through some of your flesh and handing the GM a rope.
Do I also put reputations there?
Possibly.
There's reputations. There's a reputations place down under stats and skills, I want to say. I found it before. Yeah.
Oh, it is on stats and skills.
If you go right under attributes, there's reputations. So I think I've got my beliefs and instincts basically settled. Might fix some wordings here.
Oh, also, just a mechanical thing that exists for gunpowder weapons in this rule set that if we don't feel like having it apply, we don't strictly need to. But gunpowder weapons have a gunpowder die, which you just roll a d6 separately, and if it comes up a 1, something has misfired. And at that point, there's a 50-50 chance that either you need to... the gun has jammed or flashed and must be reloaded. Or on a 1 to 3, it just hurts you a bunch.
You don't actually explode.
God. I'm super curious what Zach's character has dreamt of before the start of this.
Maybe like, yeah, I really like that. I really like that as a character hook, to be like, oh, I dream things. And I do them. I do them because it usually turns out okay. That's how I wound up owning this grapery.
This grapery. You bastard.
When did the dream start?
I think maybe because I have that hated relationship with the old lady, right?
Okay.
I think maybe I was having dreams on some level when I went to go like study with her, when I went to go do the apostle thing, and that made me unsuitable, and she like shunned me and pushed me away at that point.
The old mystic of the valley. It's
Yeah, I don't remember what
you have forbidden check, not hateful.
Oh, okay.
If you want to,
maybe I had her since I was a kid, and she was helping me like deal with it before whatever happened with my family and the whole falling out thing, and I became a poisoner.
sure.
Maybe it's been a thing that's always been there, and like I've used it to survive my life in the traveling poison circus, and then come back into town and like climb the ranks as an outsider in the courts as well. Like I think it's always been there and a thing that I've leaned on pretty hard.
I love the idea of you like dreaming this recipe that like is how you nailed the job interview to be the court chef, and then you just fuck everything else up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Ratatouille.
I was gonna say it's like Ratatouille with the rats in my brain.
So it's like Ratatouille. All right, I've added a minor relationship,
Okay.
or minor reputation.
Very good.
So which is with 7 RPS, which I assume is resource points.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't filled out the other parts there, and then I've
The prince's
Folklore minor
disfavored
reputation.
daughter.
what's that?
The prince's disfavored daughter.
Yes,
Good.
which is both my reputation and my relationship that I've added so far.
Nice. That's not the same thing as my cousin. Those are different people, or are they the same people? I feel like they're different.
I think your cousin is not the prince, unless your cousin is the prince.
Well, okay, so I must have missed that. Are you the prince's disfavored daughter? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I thought the relationship was with the prince's disfavored daughter.
Oh,
Sorry.
that would be even better. But I don't have any points for that. I'm working on it.
I mean, you can circles the person up.
Yeah. These are just the ones we start knowing and hating. There'll
Well,
be plenty more to know and hate later.
One of the mechanical benefits of having a relationship with someone is you can always find them. Like, you can always get to where they are within reason. They are available to you. So if you're like, I want to have a scene where I'm talking to person I have relationship with, then you just get to have that scene.
No, it seems super helpful to be able to call upon the prince in this case. So
Also, the more you circles up the same person, eventually they turn into a relationship.
okay. Is there anything else I can do with my resource points? There's 0, so I don't know if there's like. Adam said that a wife is 1 point.
Do you have clothes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you have
Any
shoes?
Excuse me. I have clothes, shoes, personal effects, finery, and finery.
Wow. Okay.
You went double finery?
No.
Oh, okay.
Single finery.
Okay.
And a
What
run-of-the-mill
personal
rapier and a run-of-the-mill pistol.
Yeah, which hurts. That's
That
how you can tell that I'm a prince's disfavored daughter.
Yeah, non-run-of-the-mill pistols are like you could have this, or you could have a treasure ship.
Right.
Also, how you start with resources of 1.
Well, because you don't know anybody here, and you can't like leverage anything, and like, yeah, I like that. I like that. You also don't have a lifestyle to maintain. So...
Sorry. Resources, property, reputations, and affiliations. So 20 reputations and affiliations, not relationships. Okay, you almost got to 30. Actually, I think you do. I think you get to exactly 30. Or no, you get to 31 because 15 plus 5 is 20, and then 4 more, and then 7 for the reputation gets you to 31. So you have 2 resources.
Ooh. I don't know what that means.
It's if you want to ever buy things, then you roll 2 dice and are less likely to fail and be told, sorry, you're broke.
Oh shit! I need more resources. And my circles starting circles half the will exponent rounded down.
Mm-hmm.
And my will exponent is 4, so it shouldn't be 2, not 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can just type that in.
And my faith, I guess, is 1 by default.
Faith is probably 0.
Cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things in this game, I love this, possibly more than I should. But the way you determine your starting faith is there are some questions, like I asked for, what do you call it? Similar to what I asked about, like your steel and for your health. Let me see if I can find it again. This might be the bookmark. This is not the bookmark. This is the bookmark for the seafaring stuff that I had when I was terrified of Zach's character with 90 resource points.
90? No, that guy had 160. If I spent all of mine, if I went without shoes, I could make it to 10 resources. 10 resources. 10.
Great.
I was going to be the Richard Branson of shipping, basically.
Could you just use your resource points to acquire shoes in the first session?
Exactly. Like I was gonna. My plan was to like.
I walk into a shoe store.
Yeah, my
I
character
find
introduction
the
to
best
the campaign.
tiefling cobbler I can find.
Yeah. My character introduction to the campaign was going to be I was going to Jack Sparrow off a sinking ship with like a loincloth and no shoes, and then I was going to like walk into the nearest place and like hand them a traveler's check and be like, "I need your best clothes."
A loincloth of finery, damn it.
The finest loincloth available.
So, for Faith, Mike, since you brought it up, and because I'm a massive fan of this mechanic, when a player purchases the Faithful trait for their character, they may open a B3 Faith attribute. By answering the following questions, they may raise the starting attribute. Once in play, advancement is governed by the standard mechanics. However, the player must incorporate their faith into one of their beliefs. The GM should ask the player the following questions. The answer should be based on the character's beliefs and the situation at hand. Whom do you trust most? When in danger, whom do you consult for aid? Ultimately, how can you best serve your allies? There is only one correct answer to each of these questions. God.
Oh,
was gonna say
so I'm
money.
not faithful.
But that's like emotional faith. Like the emotional power of faith in the
Right.
system is ultimately how can you best serve your allies? God.
One of them was gun. Is that close to God?
I mean,
It's yeah.
That feels dark now. Andrew, I added a belief. I don't know if you want to keep that out real quick.
I will win my father's favor or topple him from his throne. I think you should pick
Wow.
one or the other. I think
will
you should
earn my father's favor by toppling him from his throne, or earn my father's by toppling him from his throne. Yeah, like that's two separate conflicting beliefs to me, is what that sounds like. Because
Well, and, like-
they're not co-actionable, right?
And it's like, I will win my father's favor by doing thing.
Okay.
Or just like, I will win my father's favor, and like every time you reasonably make progress towards it in a session, you'll get 1 fate point at the end of session. It's also super confusing that they're fate points that aren't in the fate system, but they are still narrative currency.
What kind of effed up family relationship do I have where I'm going to win my father's favor by toppling him from his throne?
I mean, we've established at least that city people live in a competitive but non-violent society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe the throne is decided by a dodgeball game. You don't know.
Or politicking, because like games and whatnot, right?
So I need more beliefs than just that.
It's 3. As well as 3 instincts, and yeah, you've got your character traits. and your die traits and your call-ins. But those three things, your beliefs, your instincts, and your traits, make up your bits, which is sort of the heart and soul of your character.
Right.
My dreams have power, and they will lead me to glory.
Adam, do you have any beliefs yet?
I have, I'm not sure if this works, but I have non-citizens should not be allowed here. For being the main drag, I don't know what we've called the main. I'll drive them out of business.
And then the instincts of, I never pay full price for anything, and I refuse to lie to make a deal.
We're going to have some fun negotiations about wine.
You're
You're going to win them, almost certainly.
I just love that I refuse to lie to make a deal, because you're just like, it's a nice business you got here, colonizer. I know this lady who's got a real sharp shot with a gun. Be a shame if something were to happen to this nice business you got here. Here's some money to leave.
I feel like that. I feel like the my dreams have power, they will lead me to glory. I could rework that somehow. It does not. There's no solid endpoint to that.
Well, it could be a fate farm, right? Like, just you follow whatever dream there is. And then, like, I mean, if eventually you decide, like, my dreams are bullshit and you start pursuing a life of faith, or they're, mark of corruption or whatever, like, that's character growth and change.
It's true. Okay.
I'm not saying don't change it, but I'm also just saying, like, that's totally workable. As someone who has as much experience in this game as you do.
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Right. Part of why I'm very glad to stream this is because Burning Wheel does have a bit of a reputation in the community of being like this giant sort of bugbear, honestly. Like, it's known as being a lot. There's a bunch of fiddly bits. And I kind of want to stumble through it and be like, it's not that scary, and it's not that difficult, and if the four of us can figure it out,
Yeah.
So it says in the book that I need to have beliefs that are actionable. Is, that winning my father's favor and topping from the throne seems like a long-term thing.
Yes. If you can have like long-term sort of character goal, like fuzzy goal, ergo I will short-term goal. So like
Gotcha.
I will win my father's favor by
like stabilizing his interests in this region or something.
Yeah, or like this one specific thing, like by ensuring a supply of rifles to his troops, or
like by completely dissolving this political situation here, or like delivering him the duchy of Thundering Hills, or
like by supplying him with information about what goes on here, right? By spying on the locals, right?
Yeah, or the non-locals. So Echoing Valley, Thundering Valley, or the Shattered Tig, or Blast-Heath. The Invading Province. I'm imagining it's something like the Invading Province is up or something. They're up some river or some stream or whatever, and like they translate that, like when they finish annexing you, if they finish annexing you, but when they do, like you're going to be lower whatever.
Okay.
And they're from, like, their capital is Silverhearth.
Caw! Oh wait, it's Overhawk. I need a belief that's like profoundly pessimistic.
That's the spirit.
The colonizers are better or more coherent or like better organized than we are. Ergo, I will. Or just, we are fractured. Like, divided we fall, therefore.
This place is lost. I will salvage what I can.
Or that.
We took our best shot. Now what do we do?
I tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
Alright. Okay, so that's more of an instinct. Okay, so like...
I think they're just called Argent. Partially because I really like that word.
They're not like the Ashen Empire.
No.
They're not thinking of themselves as such.
No, they're they're nationalists. If we established that they believe in the strength of the Ashen Empire, and they just think it would make more sense if this tiny mountain pass was a part of the glorious of their province and could therefore be better managed and better brought into alignment with the rest of the needs of the Ashen Empire.
Out of curiosity, what is the F, P, and D checkboxes for beliefs and instincts?
As you spend fate, persona, and deeds points on things, that's how you gray shade stuff after character creation, essentially.
Okay.
Wow, y'all are old.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're super
Yeah.
young.
Hey, it takes time to be this rich.
Mm.
Exactly. Like the big money no whammies life paths are big. Also, I added 3 years to my life just jumping around into different.
So did
settings.
Mike. He was originally 20.
Yeah, Mike started out 8. I started out 12. They grow up slower in the city apparently.
Yeah.
Which is weird and seems backwards somehow.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, you get less time to fuck around as a noble because you can embarrass your parents more quickly. And embarrassing your parents is a bigger deal. And also they can just educate you faster because they have money.
yeah, I think that's what it is, right? It's getting to the level of education that correlates with your born path, right?
Yeah.
So like as a city-born kid to parents who lived in the city and worked in the city, I probably had slightly more access to like actual tutors and things. So, but not like noble access. So it took me longer to get there, but I got to most of the same place skill-wise.
Yeah.
Right.
Just in 50% more time.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm very curious about Endiso's dream.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So there's 2 ways I think we can go with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That immediately jump to mind. And in both cases, the dream could have been about the princess, right?
Okay.
And the whole plot with the princess, right?
So
in the
gunpowder,
first,
treason, and yes.
yeah. So like in the first dream, it works. It's just like I'm going to throw my world into like a tailspin,
Mm-hmm.
right? On the second dream, it doesn't work, but it still turns out all right for me.
I'm sorry, you said tailspin, and my brain just went ooh.
Tailspin.
No, I went for DuckTales. Ooh.
Woo. Isn't Tailspin a spin-off of DuckTales?
Don't
Yeah. No.
I don't think so. I think it's its
Tailspin
own
has
thing.
Baloo.
Yeah, Tailspin has like all the non-duck animals. Yes.
So really, this is just part of the greater Disney verse that we'll explore at a later point in time.
Yes. Yes.
The Roll20 crew deep cut here. Disney Bezos Hypermedia. They were playing the Sprawl, and one of the things you do is every player at the table, including the GM, makes a megacorp. And Adam Coble pitched Disney Bezos Hypermedia. When Amazon or Disney finally acquires the other one and just owns basically all media and streaming.
I'm not gonna lie, I like it. But I say this from far within the dragon.
Right.
So I think maybe my dream was the plot happens. Maybe I see the princess die. Maybe if I see the princess die and I still get it, I think that makes me an even worse person.
I think you get a dream of like you're in whatever servant's shoes functionally. And like I mean, it's a dream. You never know how they start or like how you got into any given scene, and so there's like this confusion as you're sort of being buffeted around in the kitchen that you vaguely remember, and everything's like a little different but sort of the same. And I think like maybe you even see some of your old poisoner friends who like definitely would not be in this kitchen, but they're there in the dream kitchen. And like mixing stuff and pouring stuff, and like someone hands you functionally like a tray of wine, and they're like, "This one, idiot, look at me," and like it's the like leader of your poison band, like, "Idiot, look at me," and like maybe smacks you a bit, which like doesn't happen in reality, but they're just like, "Idiot, look at me. This one for that guy with the beard, get it to that guy. This one, that guy." And then like pushes you out the door, and like you're just handing out the glasses of wine, and then like we just sort of fade out from there. Like you don't get how the party ends, but you know like, oh, that's how we can like stop this annexation from happening.
Okay, yeah. That means that'd be why okay. That's why I joined the plot in the first place. So my dream told me to.
Or just like that this is going to happen, and this is where you need to be.
My dreams are always right, so...
Scary.
How's everybody feeling for their character stuff?
I need to figure out a trait.
Okay.
I have an instinct, but can we take like a 2-minute break so I can grab some bottled water?
Let's take 5.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be back in 5 minutes, everybody. See you then. Hope you're all having fun. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We shall return shortly. All right, and we're back. Just in time for Zach to laugh. It's a joke that you missed. Yeah.
Also, 90% of our content anyway. Zach laughing at jokes that you didn't hear.
Yeah, hope everybody had a pleasant 5 minutes. I know I kind of did. And I have a kettle that's going to go off in a couple minutes, so there will be a brief whine and then I'll mute my mic and run off camera. But I'll still be listening.
Always listening.
Mike, you had a question about instincts, I believe?
Yeah, I'm trying to hash out instincts.
Okay.
I'm not...
So they're a good way to, like, color your character. They're kind of... A good way to have them phrased is always and never. So, like, never turn my back on a mark or something. But you can also just have them, like, whenever I have a spare moment, I practice oratory or reading and writing or similar. And that can actually, like, get you practice checks on your stats, on your skills.
Yeah, because that's the way you go up in sword without being stabbed a bunch, is eventually you can train yourself up.
Yeah. Well, and
Right,
one of the
be
things that Burning Wheel does is every so often we can just elide 3 months or 6 months or a year or a week. And I sort of ask what everybody was doing during this period of relative downtime, or at least relative stasis. And we get to go into things like, cool, I spent the time, like, practicing seduction. And it's like, what does it look like when you practice seduction on someone for 8 hours a day for 3 months?
Just make kissy faces in the mirror.
Well, no, like, it's specifically, like, on... But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, you can practice... I think it's an amount up to, like, some multiple of your will exponent. And, like, high will exponent is, like, yeah, I spent 18 hours a day for 3 months practicing oratory.
Okay.
That's how I became a non-shit vintner. So I just sat in my grapery, smashing grapes.
With your shoe, right?
With my shoe.
Yeah, this character has
Like, how else do you
shoes.
smash, right? How else do you smash grapes? You just...
What's the name of your vineyard? And if you say the grapery, I quit. Like, what's the actual name?
I feel like, yeah, so I got this from somebody else. So, like, it has a respectable name.
I think Vino de la Vino is probably the name of the vineyard.
Oh.
Or just Vino of the Valley or something.
Valley in the garden.
Thunder grapes. I renamed it in the most, like, monster truck way I could come up with.
Thunder. Okay.
I wonder, do we have thunder grapes? Like, are there special grapes that grow in a place where there's, like, constant air reverberation?
Well,
Like,
like, this is, like, a D&D planet first. Like, I want it to have, like, weird magic shit. Like, there's a non-zero chance the party will encounter an owlbear if you go into the woods at night.
Yeah. I think we can call it, like, Thunder Valley Grapery. I think be really boring about it.
And still call it a grapery. Don't think I don't see you.
I just want to make NPCs say grapery. So I was like, I want them to do that.
So where do you get traits? Oh wait, I already have traits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You'll have some that were mandatory based on life paths.
Right.
So that's an interesting instinct, the last one. I don't know how you...
I don't know if it's any good. I don't know if any of these are any good.
That almost feels like the start of a belief. There's always another secret.
And I will work to uncover them.
Well, so your last belief might be closer to an instinct, and your last instinct might be closer to a belief. Which, like,
Ooh.
a sturdy tree cannot grow in shallow soil, so it will build a network of allies to call upon. So maybe, like, the instinct is, like, always build a network.
Allying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a thing, like...
Listen.
A really good one from the Roll20 Burning Wheel campaign is whenever I meet someone new, recall a piece of gossip about them. So instead of gossip, maybe it's a darker secret, and you get to just start rolling some, like, you know, blackmail tests every new NPC you meet. And that's not a guarantee of success. In fact, that could make your life very complicated and interesting.
All right, I've reworked the last two. See what you think.
There's always a darker secret, and I will collect them all. Pokemon!
I had catch there for a second.
It feels like there should be a second sentence on the last one, like, I will collect them all, or like, comma, starting with, and then...
Okay.
Just, I mean, like, I will collect them all is a good way to get a bunch of fate, which is not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, having a fate farm belief is not a bad deal.
Mm-hmm. And you also can change your beliefs between sessions, and your instincts, too, if you find one's just not very interesting or similar. And then every sort of, at a regular frequency throughout the campaign, we'll also do a trait vote session, where we discuss what traits characters have been sort of leaning into especially hard, in which they've been shying away from. And we'll remove traits from characters, and we'll assign characters new traits, essentially. So that's how, like, in play, someone could become gifted and learn sorcery.
Mm-hmm. Or faithful, or...
Yeah.
The killer.
Yeah.
All right, so how do I rework the dark secret concept into a better belief?
Well, like,
It's not that I'm giving up and punting, but, like, I want to figure it out.
I will collect them all, starting with, and then, like...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can even leave it blank and be like, my father's rival. And then in the session, I can be like, cool, tell me more about your father's rival. And then we can sort of hash out who that character is. And, I mean, put you in a room with them or one of their servants or whatever, right? And my kettle's about to start squealing, so I shall return shortly.
My other two beliefs are about the usurpers already, and I wanted to have a third one that was not.
Well, does your father face threats from inside? Like, that's not related to the usurpers? Like, was the original... So you've established that there is, like... Is it the matriarch of the family that's still sort of around?
I believe it was the aunt was, like, actually fired up about kicking out the usurpers, and most other people were bought off.
Yeah.
Another thing can be, so there's always a darker secret, and, like, there's always a darker secret, and my father's no exception. Like, I need to shore up that vulnerability. Or I will shore up this vulnerability, right? Because, I mean, never let someone get too close is one of your instincts. So that could be another thing, right? Is just, I need to be protected from all things, even the man that I'm sworn to protect. I don't know. Usurpers are not worth the soil they stand upon, and I will undermine them at every turn.
Is that too big?
Kind of.
I do not have the knack for beliefs. These are all aspects.
Yeah. A belief, like, you get something for completing a belief. So having, like, a thing that has a definite endpoint. So you start them out like an aspect. I believe a thing. And then you sort of take it home with, therefore, I will do short to medium term goal. So, like, I will win my father's favor. Sweet. By, like, discovering a plan of the occupiers. And, like, cool. Then we get you in a room with a bunch of occupying fuckheads and you interrogate it out of them, or you eavesdrop on a meeting or similar. So having, like, a specific endpoint for them is a good way to sort of ensure that, like, you can keep a theme throughout your beliefs throughout the campaign. But a goal should be, like, work on at least a couple of your beliefs every session. And, like, maybe reasonably complete one every session. Or, like, have one be completable every session, and then whether or not you succeed at completing it.
Yeah, also, they can complete without you succeeding at them, right?
I mean, they can become untenable to pursue further, and you'll get the fate for pursuing it, you just won't get the persona for completing it.
Okay.
I always accept a drink if offered and will inquire if none is. God. You nerd. I'll bring together the old families by restoring the Merchants Guild.
Nice.
So that paints, like, a definite picture, too. Magnus Luciano. You're only 39. You're still pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not for, like, you know, early gunpowder eras, but still.
Yeah, but for, like, the person who's going to wind up, like, running the Merchants Guild, that's not
bad.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go round, and I will sell my latest vintage for the exorbitant price it is worth. I feel like exorbitant should even just be in quote, like, in brackets, so, like, we know it's exorbitant, but Indiso doesn't think it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, like, I'm not very good at getting things from people. I'm just, like, really impressive with my... I impress people deeply with my wine and my wine abilities, but I'm not, like, a merchant of any stripe whatsoever. So I'm going to get rolled.
Right.
On basically every negotiation.
Do you have haggling? You do.
Do I?
You do.
Okay.
Looks like you have a haggling of 3, so you're better at haggle than you are at cook.
Yeah, but, like, marginally so.
Fair. Are you Palace Secrets wise? God.
Yes, I am. I both worked there and do poisons. Seemed like a thing that would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually bought that with general skill points, along with stealthy.
So is it... Here's the thing. Is it palace? Or is it, like, court?
Oh, that's a good question. Because, like... Yeah, court might make more sense. I was thinking, like, if I was the cook and I was, like, directing servants and things, I would probably know, like, where all the secret passages were and, like, who took what in their room.
Sure.
Which was why I went with palace.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm that wired in at court. I was kind of relying on my con to help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's actually palace. I think it's like the physical palace and like the goings on therein.
Sure. You know more about grapes than you have skill in cooking. And you call it a grapery.
Well, bearing in mind that my skill in cooking is, can you make toast? Hold on, maybe. But I imagine I could fork in herbalism?
To cooking?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very spicy. I made very spicy toast.
Jesus. Please hold. Life paths.
I'm almost sure that's not a thing you can do. I'm almost sure that forking herbalism into the spice or into cooking is something.
Trying to figure out where like court chef is. There it is. The court chef knows about herbalism.
Yeah, that's how I got herbalism.
So I mean, I think maybe you can.
Oh, all right. I'm into it. I mean, I'll take it for sure.
Horse traits. Good. What I needed to see. Cooking.
So I'm looking up right now too. Forks, herbalism, apothecary, baking.
There you go. Absolutely, you can spice things with herbalism. I guess that makes a lot of sense. There are herbs and spices, and yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I doubted you.
That can give me a whole 3 dice. No wonder I was such a sought-after chef.
Two foreign powers and trading partners. I think one of them is the Conclave of Ancient Arbors, which is like the elf-ass elf country.
Oh, but do they know about ashes, though? Ash trees.
They know about a lot of different kinds of trees. And they probably are sad about most of them.
What if we showed them the trees of my grapery? Do they know about my grape trees?
Hate you so much.
This character's already bringing me a weird amount of joy. Oh.
I'm glad I'm able to help here. Here are a few people that you might want to look into as spies, Michael. So there's the groom, the guy who's going to marry the princess. So that's one potential target for your blackmailing and stealthy stuff. Mm-hmm. There's also, they've employed like a fairly heavy taxation system. So there's a tax collector, like some, like the like local arbiter of like taxation, blah blah blah. Has some fancy sounding ministry title, and also they have hired muscle. So those might be other things that your character's interested in. And those are some characters that I'm going to have to burn up. I think the hired muscle doesn't get a character sheet, but the tax collector probably does.
All right, I'm trying to rework the beliefs. I don't know if those are any better.
Let me take a look at them. I will win my father's favor by inserting myself into the usurper's court. Yes. The usurpers are not worth the soil they stand upon. I will disrupt their attempts at short-term goal. Yeah. Like taxation collection or...
Well, the second one is directly related to that.
All change is rooted in chaos, and killing the tax collector is the first step.
Does he like wine, the tax collector?
I think he's got a lead allergy.
We've got a guy for... Oh, nice. I was going to say, we got a guy for that.
Listen.
So, so these are the guys that are, like, establishing, like, the citizenship and, like, houses and stuff, and, like non-locals can be citizens now or something like that?
So, yeah, citizenry previously was a locals-only thing, and it was, like, a club you kind of bought into. And now it's a thing that, like, anyone can buy into. And I don't know if it was... I think it was a thing you were, like, voted into previously. Or, like, appointed into. if the traditional ways weren't like democratic, essentially. I mean, why don't you tell me, Magnus? What's the proper way for someone to gain citizenship in Thundering Valley or Blast-Heath?
So I think by birth is definitely the easiest way. I'm guessing there's probably some sort of sponsorship where existing families could sponsor a newcomer, and then they'd had to obtain, 30% support or something from other families.
Okay. So yeah, you bribe your way in, and now people can just do the gaudy thing of dropping a sack of coin off.
So now they bribe their way in, or how was it before?
Before it was like wheeling and dealing in favors and whatnot, and buying the support of people who are already citizens. And now it's you take a sack of cash to the tax collector and say, I would like to tithe this. Please let me fill out some forms.
Okay, my second goal is to be like my first goal is to get into their into their court. My second goal is to begin disrupting their plans. And my third goal is to just outright kill somebody. So like,
okay,
like how I'm trying to figure out the verbiage or the languages bits for like disrupting their ability to
communicate,
like do trade and stuff, right? Like yeah. Or like fuck their communications, right?
Yeah. Or like, you're a forger. Start filling their books with false records.
Right. I'll disrupt this the usurpers' efforts by gaining access to their ledgers.
Yeah, just falsifying ledgers all over the place, leading them in circles trying to find their money, and then draining some of it out to afford your apartment that you don't have anymore.
Oh no, and funneling it to my favorite vinters and merchants.
This grapefruit ain't paying for itself.
Not with B3 haggling, it ain't.
All right, Andrew, how are those beliefs? Those seem much in the betterness.
Yeah. And like, is there one that you want to like pursue immediately? Like, is there a specific scene? Like, where do we see Margareta the first time we see her on camera? Because I think the assassination has occurred. I think it's like a couple weeks in the past, maybe. And there's some leads, and maybe there are some people investigating the three of you. But like not just the three of you. Like, I don't know if any of you were in the room when it went wrong, but
we established that I was, I think.
Okay. I kind of want to get the like Blades in the Dark steel test. Like the just how badly did you react in the moment?
Do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let me just figure out obs for steel tests.
Steel obs steals.
Hesitation. I am not looking up traits. I am looking up other things. This book is very funny out of context sometimes. I just saw the phrase gray grief on a page.
Yeah. I missed the gray shading. Oh, that makes it purest 1, right?
Yeah, it hits on 3s instead of 4s.
Steel test appears to be at 363.
Okay.
Or thereabouts.
Yes. Obstacle 3 is witnessing real bloodshed and gore. I don't know if that's 2 witnessing violence or 3 witnessing bloodshed. Actually, how close were you to the princess or heiress or whomever was being married off here?
Oh, to the lady who died?
Well, is dying. Would you say she's a friend or a relative?
It's probably a friend or like court friend. I can't let anybody get too close.
Okay. So that'll be your steel against obstacle 4, I believe. Let me double check because that might get added to your hesitation. Oh, there we go. Would you say you are committing this murder?
Probably, right?
Okay. So the ob is your hesitation plus 2.
Plus what?
2. So the ob, ob is what you're rolling against. It's the base obstacle. But you have a steel of 5. You could actually feasibly make this with a good roll, a very good roll. But it'll be under stats and skills. And then you'll click the die next to steel, and it should ask you for the base obstacle. Or, oh, there we go. So you won't have any modifiers.
My hesitation is 6.
Do you feel... Oh, okay. One last question, though. Do you feel safe in a group of friends or allies as... as this lady drinks the poison?
No, I mean,
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't, right? I'm in the midst of doing the thing.
Okay. So yeah, it'll be your hesitation plus 2, so I think that's ob 8.
Which is impossible.
Yeah, but it gets you a difficult steel test, so that's nice.
Yeah. So the point is, you might not nail the steel test, right? But you determine how long you stand there stuttering while the thing happens.
Yeah. So, you've failed, but you got 3 successes
9.
against 8.
Ooh, does he get to mark it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So, we'll get to how tests improve your stats over time. But let's do this first. So, failed steel test. When a player fails to get a number of successes equal to their hesitation, they failed the steel test. When this happens, the character stops what they're doing and loses it for a moment. For as many heartbeats as the margin of failure. So for 5 heartbeats. During those achingly long heartbeats, they may do one of the following things. You may stand and drool, which is just you stand there stunned. You don't literally drool unless you choose to. Fall prone and beg for mercy, which is a character may immediately drop to the ground and prostrate themselves or curl into a ball. This reaction is particularly useful when caught unaware by bow shots or explosions. You may run screaming. If you opt to run screaming, the character must flee at top speed away from the source of terror. If they do so, they must scream.
Ah! Oh, the boot, it was poisoned.
Run screaming is not a tactical retreat. The character cares about one thing only, getting away as fast as possible. And there's also swoon. A character may have their character pitch backwards in a swoon. The character is dazed and utterly unaware of their surroundings while in a swoon. Players who opt to have their character swoon may choose how and when their character is roused. The character hesitates for at least as many heartbeats as the margin of failure.
Wow, those are pretty great.
Yeah. We're playing Burn and Wheel, y'all.
Staring. Is drool literal?
No.
You know what?
You stand there in stunned shock.
I'm either stunned or fainted.
Okay.
I think if with an aura of innocence, perhaps fainting is the more innocent thing.
Sure.
Swooning, excuse me, not fainting.
Yes.
Swoons.
Mm-hmm.
I need a phoenix down.
Cool. So yeah, you choose how and when you are aroused.
I mean,
Or just when, I believe. And I think, like, you're not the only person, right? Like, she goes for the goblet, drinks it, and maybe, like, we get a few shots between, like, of Margretta's reaction and like very clearly staring at the Duke. And I think the lady is just like out of focus, off to one side. Like the depth of field here is razor fucking thin.
Yeah.
And like the only person in focus in either of these shots is either you or like this Duke, this colonizer, this bastard. And it's just like he like coughs a little bit to like build the tension in the scene. And like and like sets his goblet down or like hands it off to some
Is this surprise or fear?
In which way?
I'm cold-hearted.
Okay. What does that mean?
Reduce hesitation for surprise and fear, including intimidation, by 1.
Okay.
And hesitation is not reduced.
Okay. So yeah,
It's not enough to do anything, but like I was just curious if cold-hearted kicks in here.
I think it should, yeah.
Okay.
Because like you're either surprised or terrified that like, and like so yeah, the Duke like sets the goblet down or hands it off to someone or whatever, and then like we get that depth of field just shift to the lady who's like actually choking and like clawing at her throat. What does the poison you made do, Zach?
Okay, so real talk. I don't know that much about poisons.
Sure.
As a person or as a character,
Right.
We're not really good at it. So I imagine it's not real.
It's
It's
deadly.
not
You have
yeah.
made something literally deadly.
Yeah, and it's not nice about it. Like
Okay.
it's not like she's gonna have like pink foam coming out of her mouth or something like deeply disturbing. Like
This is a D&D world. Like, you can go full fantasy with what this poison do.
okay, so like she gets like green veins that go down her neck and into her like chest area, and like part of her starts to petrify.
Yeah.
Right? Like her throat petrifies. And
Oh,
she starts
like-
coughing up dust
Mm-hmm.
essentially out of her mouth.
The old flesh to stone poison.
Exactly. And there's nothing you can do. Like once your neck's rocked, there's nothing they can do. Like that's it.
I mean, yeah, if there was, like, you know, a cleric, like someone with capital F faith or, like, someone with capital S sorcery nearby on hand to actually stop this. But, like, no, at this point it's too late. So, yeah, this lady starts turning to stone from the inside out and from the windpipe down.
That's real not fun.
And yeah, you pitch backwards and swoon. I don't know that you have a particularly comfortable landing, but it's not like injury tier.
Just the tray of drinks goes flying or whatever.
Well, like you're not the only person. Like there's the rest of the room. Actually, I wonder what like the base will exponent of this room is. Probably like 3 or 4. I wonder what the average steal of the person in this room is.
Probably not great.
No.
They're all like really, really pampered courtiers and venture capitalists and like the Argent folks might be ruthless enough to not be completely stunned by this, but
if anything, I think we've established that like the people of this province are prideful, violent, and traditionalists. And the like, yeah, no, like your culture is more used to this sort of thing.
I imagine my brother's there.
Oh, do you still have the captain of the guard?
The head of the Royal Guard, yeah.
Good. I didn't want that to do the thing, but hey. Oh, okay. I rolled the thing wrong. Yeah, there's 1 success on a hesitation of like 7, so you're actually going to be of use faster than other people if you so choose. But yeah, there's a number of people who run screaming. The captain of the guard is going to be there, but like unable to reasonably administer first aid, there's going to be shouts of like poison and assassination most foul. I imagine like quite probably like the people here are going to be rounded up and interrogated.
Like once I come to, like, I'll try to like help
Okay.
the dying princess.
Sure. I mean, so like you go. I don't know that she's capable of speech at this point.
No.
Oh, she's like super dead, and I have no ability to help her in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Just like me, I'm hoping that. I mean, clearly, I don't. Maybe I started. Maybe I do end up in jail. Maybe everybody thinks I'm making it worse.
I don't know that anybody like. Let's make a roll.
Yeah, like I mean, I can roll whatever medicine is.
Well,
I don't know what medicine is.
I don't. Would you actually try to perform first aid unskilled?
No.
Right.
It goes super well.
I'd call for the medic. Oh, that might be funny if I slip briefly and I call for the medic as opposed to the court physiker.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, like so there's a call of medic, and I think like a couple of the guards react to it. The captain, like of the Royal Guard, definitely is going to pay attention to that. But I mean, I don't know if that's particularly suspicious. They might question you on your way out, but I imagine they don't have anything.
Well, I mean, that like my skills are designed to get me out of shit like that. So,
so I mean,
how
like,
could an innocent lady of the court that everyone loves, how could they do such a thing? That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So what? How do you get out of this? How do you get out of this? Like, if they're locking down the room, are you going to like? Yeah. How do you get out of this situation? They're going to start locking down the room,
right? Like I stay there, right? And I like hold her hand while she dies.
Okay.
Right.
Do you tell her anything? Like, do you like tell her?
The Lannisters send their regards. No, that's awful. No, I lie to her, like, oh, you're gonna be fine, everything's gonna be okay.
So that's telling a dying person they're going to be fine is actually not falsehood. It's a different skill called soothing platitudes.
Okay.
Which is like it's the exact opposite of ugly truth. Ugly truth is telling someone something they don't want to hear, and soothing platitudes is, yeah.
Well, I work on my soothing platitudes then.
You can absolutely start, like, you can open that skill. You can start learning soothing platitudes. Let me find the beginner's luck section of the book. So you can tell this dying lady she's going to be fine, fail the roll almost certainly.
Well, I also know that I'm lying, right?
Yes. Standard test, graduated test, where's beginner's luck?
You double obs for sure. I remember that.
Yes. Well, so you're rolling a stat the first time, but go to the stats and skills section of your character sheet and add the new skill of of soothing platitudes. God.
Do you know what root that is? It's probably
I'm guessing it's will.
Perception.
Well, I'll look that up while you look the other thing up, Andrew.
Okay.
And is it open, or like, what is it?
You're opening the skill.
Soothing platitudes is will.
Yeah.
Beginner's luck is 37 and 49. So I was close. So learning new skills, the root. Every skill is a stat that it's based in. That's called the root. As mentioned, when a character doesn't have the appropriate skill, they may test beginner's luck at double obstacle penalty. Beginner's luck dice are equal to the root stat, not half the stat, the full dice. For skills with 2 roots, choose which stat to take the test on. So you're actually going to be improving your will on this.
Okay.
Take note that the first test, learning a skill, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When using beginner's luck to learn a skill, it is possible to learn new skills. However, obstacles for advancement are factors slightly differently. Opening the skill. Once you meet the aptitude requirement, your character opens the skill right in the skill section. Okay, so you don't actually have it open yet. Sorry, you're learning it.
Yeah, that's what I thought I was going to have. You open it up.
And let me find soothing platitudes and figure out what the
299 is
you.
the page number. Basic obstacle for soothing up platitudes is the victim's will.
Oh, good. Okay.
Imagine there might be some like disadvantages here, though.
Is it a training skill?
It should be a thing that you are learning. Being learned. Under skills, if you go to being learned, there's a section just below it. And you can just add it.
Why is it 4? Oh, because it's based on will. Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this lady probably had a will of 4. That seems fine. So your ob is going to be 4, and it should double it automatically for you. I think there's probably like at least a die or 2 of disadvantage on there. You're probably not going to hit this, but let's see against an ob of 5, and it'll double that for you.
Can you fork into skills that you don't, or like to? No, that's what I was wondering.
So, I don't know what fork means.
So if your skills can apply to roles that aren't strictly themselves. So say you like, look, I'm good at observation, so I know like I'm going to fork my observation into the stealthy role because I know where guards would be looking, and so I won't be there. And then you get extra dice on your stealthy skill based on how many dice you have in observation. So part of ways of hitting very difficult rolls is by saying like, okay, I'm going to try to roll stealthy. I'm going to fork in my inconspicuous, my observation, my like guard wise, and my soldier wise, because these people are guards and they're soldiers, so I know how they think and act. And I get like 4 extra dice on this roll, and I'm just gonna hopefully blow this thing out of the water.
And my mark of privilege wouldn't apply here, even though I'm dealing with nobility.
I think it's when you're trying when you're trying to fool someone into thinking you aren't noble is when mark of privilege fires.
It confers a 1D affiliation with nobility, but also 1D ob to all conspicuous or false tests, masquerading as someone lower than your station.
Okay.
I'm not sure what a 1D affiliation is, though. So.
If you're trying to like get them to do something for you, yeah. Then you add an extra die. Okay.
I rolled 3 successes again.
Yeah. She doesn't believe you. She dies alone, afraid.
Not alone, just afraid.
She feels very alone when she's dying.
That's true. She's being lied to. Can't be great.
Mm-hmm. She knows it. She's being lied to. She knows it, and she can't call you out on it because her throat is made of rock.
Mm-hmm.
And she's suffocating.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not a great way to go.
No.
That's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing vengeful ghosts are made out of, right there.
Characters Andrew should burn. The bottom one is poison spirit. And that note has been sitting there since last Tuesday. All right. Yeah, so you watch the light fade from this lady's eyes. There's a few people who are trying to like secure exits and keep everybody calm, since it seems to only be, the one murder victim here.
Right.
I think actually they're starting to clear the hull. Because they want to keep the scene reasonably intact and keep too many people from hearing about what's occurred. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Nope, I'll just wait there until someone collects me, because like that's what people who are afraid run.
Okay. So you're just gonna hang out until they let you go because they don't have anything, and you know that?
Yeah.
Cool. I think there's something here where I can push on you. I'm just gonna pop over to information real quick. Yeah, there's definitely like a number of usurpers here. You probably couldn't like gain trust instantly, but like might be a good way to meet someone if you want to try to. Alternatively, we can if Zach and or Adam are feeling their characters are reasonably complete, we can see what they're up to on this fateful day or 2 weeks later.
Poisoning.
Do we mark anything for the steel and soothing checks?
So you definitely do for the steel check. Let me figure out where advancement is. It's fairly early on.
The page 41 is the list of obstacles.
Thank you.
Difficulty test by dice rolled.
Yep. Steel was
8.
Steel was difficulty 8.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think actually steel obs work differently. So this was a 4 test.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, because the obstacle isn't just your hesitation. So a 4 to 5 is still difficult on 5 dice. So you mark a difficult test. So you just click the little dot.
Okay.
And then for will, will was a base 5 obstacle, and you have 4 will. If I recall correctly. Okay. So you mark a challenging will test. And I think to advance, you need like you've got the 1 challenging, so you just need 2 difficult, and then your will goes up to 5. I think that's how that works. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, that's a lot faster than I thought it'd be. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some valuable experience. I mean, the other thing is routine tests for stats don't count.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to also bookmark this page because this seems valuable.
All the bookmarks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, if you choose not to do anything else, they're eventually going to let you go.
Yeah, I feel like that's an okay opening scene. And honestly, I'm not going to be like I'm cold-hearted, but I'm not like a monster. Well, technically I am, but
I guess technically I am.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not unreasonable. I mean, no one's going to eat your eyes.
Yep.
All we want to do is liberate our city. So it's been a couple weeks. What's Magnus up to? Like, what intro scene do we get of you?
So I imagine I'm probably like in the back room of someone else's storefront, like in their office.
Sure.
Passionately talking about the need to. This is probably someone from the old guard, former or an old citizen family, one that I thought might be the best political ally for this push. But I'm trying to convince them of the need to restore the Merchants Guild that sort of fell out of favor maybe a decade or 2 ago.
Okay. I think there might be a circles roll, and it's you trying to get into that back room first.
Okay.
So circles is like the create a character thing, and you're just looking for so like someone who was important before, and like you don't especially care beyond that. It's like just like a once wealthy merchant family, basically.
Yeah, probably someone that was, like I said, maybe they were part of the Merchants Guild back then, an older person.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right, let's check out circles, obstacles. Spending resource points, choosing life paths back. Okay, I was in the wrong.
I just keep going back to the index myself. So.
Yeah. Okay, so the same station, rank, or social class. This was a, like... Is this an uncommon person, do we think? But of the same rank or social class?
That sounds reasonable, yeah.
Okay. Time and place, you don't have a preference?
No.
Disposition, they're skilled in the same things you are?
That would make sense, yeah.
Okay. So it'll be an obtuse circles. And basically, if you fail, they probably exist and just don't like you for whatever reason. I think that's the interesting thing here. Yeah, oh yeah, session 1, enmity clause. Unless, I mean, Adam's got 3 on 2, like 3 dice on 2 ob, so there is no...
So I have no modifiers, is that how this works?
Do you have any reputations?
Yeah.
You have a reputation, really?
I have a tier 2.
Oh, wow.
Bisman.
I think that helps.
Pretty big rep.
That is a big rep. I think that helps. Back to 380. So you might have 2 modifiers. Let me double check. Grab dice, add advantage for... Add +1 if you've met... Nope. Add advantage dice for 1 applicable reputation. Yep. So if you've got a reputation, do you also have an affiliation that might apply here?
The citizenship affiliation, which is another tier 2.
God damn. So add 4 dice. And roll up your best friend in the whole world, probably. Do you want to give them... Like, do you want to make this harder for yourself? Do they know things you don't, maybe?
I mean, sure, they might know more about this guild. I might have only been... It might have been, like, even further back, maybe 30 years ago, before I was really in the thick of the merchant world.
Sure. Or so... I mean, maybe that just makes them rarer. Like, they have a specific occupation that's rare.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, So you've got an ob of 3, 4 now? Yeah.
Okay, so when I click on the die, I put modifier 4, hit submit. I don't know where the ob goes.
Click on the die, modifier 4, hit submit. Artha 0, hit submit. And then base obstacle is 4.
Damn.
Wow.
My roll's not so great.
Yeah.
That's 3 2s and okay. So I mean,
is it meet or beat or just beat?
Meet or beat. So you would have met the original one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
So, enmity clause. Yeah, you get sort of pulled back, like whomever the clerk is or whomever you were speaking to is like, yeah, they'll meet with you now. Head on back. And like there's a conspicuous lack of some polite gesture. Like normally you'd be offered like a beverage sort of thing, but like they just don't seem to have as much deference as they did sort of before you asked them to go talk to their boss, I guess.
Okay.
On the upside, the next time you want to look up this character, they're easier to find. But information circles. There we go. Okay, so this person is a local magnate and former head of the Merchants Guild. Name a local magnate and former merchant, head of the Merchants Guild. Also, since this is D&D, do each of you have a like humanoid but non-human species, or are each of you human, or?
I thought we kind of stated that this was like a human town, and the people coming in were
Dwarves.
aligned. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be like, culture isn't sort of a one-to-one map for race, so
Yeah.
or species. So I mean, if anybody wants to be elf or tiefling or dwarf, or if you want to be a half-orc vintner poisoner,
I think that's pretty awesome.
I think I know how to bait Zach really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be like the two-tusk grapery.
It's just it's a picture of an orc with two with a grape on their tusk.
The best thing is if the former owner was half-orc and you're like an elf, and so you've murdered this half-orc, taken over their vineyard, and you like kept the name as being like the Two Tusk Vineyard.
Oh yeah, like the name and the workforce and everything, right? It's like,
yeah, you're not a good person, it turns out.
no, and that's like why I haven't. I can't read any of the like notes for anything because it's all in Orcish. Also, I can't read, but like all the notes are in Orcish, so I can feign and having no knowledge of this thing.
Okay.
I like it.
But I think the person who runs this shop that you're in, Magnus, I believe they're an elf, like a sort of like late in their years. But I mean, like 100 for an elf is still fairly young, but old relative to like most other people in town. Yeah, this like sort of old, very reserved elven lady, and there's a chair that's been pulled out for you, and she sort of just gestures that you may sit. Yes,
Yeah, do so. Yeah.
I've been told you have business you would like to conclude with me.
Yes. It's obvious what this invasion source has been doing to our city, to not only me but all the people, all the citizens of this town, and I feel like we need to make a statement to these people, these outsiders, that the merchants of the citizenship will not be pushed around, and I feel the way to do that is to restore the Merchants Guild that you were once a proud member of.
Proud.
And I would like your support.
Proud leader of.
Proud leader, yes, of course.
And like she sort of like lets that hang in the air a little bit. And I think she's sort of like taking the measure of you, and like clearly sips a like steaming cup of tea, and just like sort of notes like just imperiously your lack of beverage. She's and what would I get out of this arrangement?
Surely you've noticed what this change to our town has done to not only my business but all the other businesses around here. Surely you would want to restore our former honor as merchants of, I forgot the name of, what's our city name, echoing Thundering Valley?
Thundering Valley would be like a good way to sort of thumb your nose at her.
Yeah.
Oh, because she's
But
an
like,
elf, right?
But it's still like socially acceptable for you to call it Thundering Valley. But I mean, if you don't want to thumb your nose at her, then
there might be a reason why I failed this roll. So,
well, yeah, let's see a persuade if you have that, or
certainly.
do you have persuade?
Yeah,
You
so
have persuasion. Okay.
I have quite a few skills that can play into this, I'm sure.
So the way skills work is, so you've got persuasion.
Yes.
She is a merchant, so you can fork in merchant wise, which means you have 6 in merchant wise. Holy shit!
That's a lot of wise. Oh my god. That's so much wise.
I'm trying to. I think forking gets a second die at 7.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, if the skill's 7 or higher, then you get 2 dice. Yeah.
That
So
is unreal. Okay.
part of the way wises work is they're a way for you to either find things out about the setting or to declare things true about the setting.
Okay.
So like, if you wanted to be like, is she like snubbing me by not offering me, a warm beverage or whatever, and you rolled successfully, I would be like, yes, absolutely she is. You could also be like, by not snubbing me, she has like done me a dishonor, and like I actually could, take legal action and fine her for the thing, and make that true about the setting with enough merchant wise. That might be a difficult thing to declare sort of post facto, but yeah, wises are how you get to like declare things true about the universe. But yeah, so you've got persuasion, which seems like a good thing to have here. Merchant wise, you can absolutely fork into any role involving her because she's a merchant and you are wise to how merchants work. I mean, it seems like other skills may play a part here, but I don't want to like tell you how to run your character.
Yeah, if this is specifically about, running affairs, I was thinking administration might also play into this.
Yep. Let me double check with that skill.
Oh, that's good, because I had no skill descriptions to go off of, so
Yeah.
I just picked, seemed reasonable.
Yeah, and if you want to move stuff around or steal Mike's book, administration is the skill of running a business or organization. This skill is primarily used to recover taxed resources. Okay. Ob 1, or just you is Ob 1. To successfully organize yourself, it's obstacle 1. A shop is Ob 2. Confraternity is 3. Small commune 4. Small guild 5. Small secret society 6. Large secret society 7. So yeah, administration absolutely forks in here.
And then finally, since I was trying to appeal to her resources, or what she's selling, or her business, I was thinking also commodity-wise.
Yep, absolutely. So you're at 3 bonus dice right now, I believe?
Yes.
So you don't have bribe-wise or similar, because that's kind of what she was angling towards as well. And die traits. What's affinity for business get you? Let's find out.
It's a +1 on any resources test ever.
Okay, so that doesn't happen yet, but okay. And what's her will likely to be? Probably like 5?
I imagine fairly high, right? Like,
yeah. Magnus is 6 and 4. She might be a 5. So you're making a persuasion against Ob 5, and you've got 7 dice.
This is not going to work, but
I mean, probably not. Statistically, it is unlikely. The thing is, she might just like set up a demand or similar, or like, yeah, she's gonna start the Merchants Guild, but like maybe you won't have a spot in it or something.
Yeah, maybe it's a race now.
Right.
Another 2.
Damn.
So
my rolls. I have so many 2s.
I want to say characters start with fate.
I don't know.
I think characters might start with fate, so you can. Let's say they do. I don't particularly feel like looking up the rule. It's 1 point of fate. If you would like to spend that fate, that single point of fate, and you're probably getting some at the end of this session, then you can re-roll those 6s and until they stop being 6s, essentially.
What do you mean by that?
So you've got, let's say everybody has 1 point of fate right now. You can spend that 1 point of fate, and what that lets you do is effectively re-roll. Like, you treat the roll as open-ended. So a 6 is an exploding die. So you get the 1 success, and then you get to roll it again. And if that comes up as 6, you get to roll it again.
Okay, so I would have to roll 2 more 6s, and then 1 more after that. One more
Be a
success
success.
after that, just to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Okay. It's not very likely.
No.
But at the same
Just the way
time,
I've been rolling.
yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, I get the point now, though. In the future, that's good. Okay.
Yep. And we should put that on your character sheet somewhere. I think you should have
Yeah.
a pool for Artha.
Yeah, it's right there up there above skills.
Okay. Stats, attributes. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Oh, and if you click spending Artha, it shows you the different... Okay. Another thing you can do... sorry, as you spend it on skills, that's how you also improve the skills, but it takes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like 20 fate sunk into a skill and a bunch of persona and like 1 deeds point.
Yeah, like 5 or 3 persona and then 1 deeds to scale something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge bonus when you get it. But, okay. So that should be 7 dice on... 7 dice on Ob 5 is a difficult persuade test. So you can mark that on your character sheet, wherever persuade is. Oh, it has it right there, too. Under skills is test difficulty. And that has the whole list. Awesome. So yeah, when you max out those, like when you get those numbers of things, then they all reset and your persuade goes up by 1. So you would get up to 5 dice. Yeah, I think she sort of like stonewalls you, and like... You know, we prefer to call it Echoing Valley, child. And there's a reason that the guild doesn't exist anymore. It was bloated, it was inefficient, and I would know because I was leading it. And I'd really, really love to see you try and fail where your betters knew better.
Clearly, a mistake was made in my coming here and seeking the help of those that failed the first time around. I'll see myself out.
Before you go, child, a word of advice. I will enjoy watching you fail in this endeavor. But if you'd like to take down one of my rivals on your way, someone worth note, perhaps try that man who's now posing as an innkeep at the, I think it's like the dock and something, right? And there's like no rivers or lakes or anything sort of like in the immediate vicinity. And it's like the dock and tackle. He might be more willing. He might be more your size. And just like sets her tea down and you hear the door opened for you as if like the person who led you back was just waiting for you to be summarily dismissed like this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have like a coat that you gave them or anything?
What season are we in?
That's a very good question. I think it's probably spring. Seems like a time of new beginnings and, things rising from the corpses of the fallen.
I probably had some sort of Oh Jesus! I probably had some sort of hat and walking cane that I would have handed off.
Yeah. So yeah, they're waiting with your hat and your cane, and they're just. Thank you for your visit, sir. It's not often we get guests.
I'll just take my effects and leave.
As you wish, sir. Have a lovely day. Like, opens the door, like the side door out for you. So you don't have to go through, like, the front of house. All right, Vintner.
All right.
What's good in DSO?
I'm not sure. Would I? So this is the how it was a couple weeks afterwards where we just set.
Yeah, like within a
Rises?
couple weeks.
Yeah. So let's do the same. Same for Indie. So I imagine I'm like either maybe I'm giving like a tour of my grapery.
Okay.
Maybe that's what's going on. Like I'm giving prospective investors and like buyers a tour.
I think it's the tax collector.
Oh no. Okay. Okay.
Like it's not like the tax collector. Like it's not the like minister of like. I think it's the Minister of Taxation Affairs is the name of the title. Like something suitably like.
Okay. This is like one of the underlings.
Yeah.
This is,
How little money you're pulling in and how you can afford taxes this year.
yeah, like I'm already taking a loss on this thing. You gotta let me get established here. It's costing me so much. I had to like scratch out all these like tusk paintings, put up like pointy ear paintings instead.
Do you know how much? Do you know how much seed money it takes to plant a vineyard? Seeds aren't cheap.
I mean, it's not like grapes grow on trees. Really.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a real peahen situation you got there.
It's just a pea end of a situation.
I get that reference.
All right, Indiso. So yeah, it's some low-level functionary wearing. I think it's like a very dowdy uniform that doesn't quite fit this person, and they've got like a clipboard and just scribbling notes furiously.
Yeah. So I'll like walk them through and point out like the future money I'm going to make. These grapes.
Mm-hmm.
And the casks full of wine that will age to fruition, but have not yet. I've got a lot of overhead. There is so much overhead in this business, and right now I'm just trying to stay afloat. Would you like a drink? And I'll like pull a bottle like out from behind like a shelf or something like this has been stashed back there and like pop it open.
It's still like
So,
grape juice. It's not even fermented yet.
Yeah, it's just like. It's just like grape juice, but I poured brandy into it. Like it's...
Not at present. I'm working and like sort of jiggles like clipboard and pen a little for emphasis.
Suit yourself. I'll pour myself a glass, which again was stashed sort of behind. I'll, like blow the dust out and shake it a little bit, and pour the wine in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these things take years to mature, and I don't. As of once they do, I'm sure I will be a boon to the duchy in my tax payments. But as of right now, I'm afraid that I just don't have the funds to properly. There's no money coming in.
So, is it true that you're broke as shit, or are you like? Is this persuade or falsehood?
I think it's probably closer to falsehood. It's not so very untrue, but like I could probably pay my taxes.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. So yeah, this feels like falsehood. Falsehood is against per. Oh, it's the size of. Is this the one the size of the lie, or is this one still will? I think this is still will.
I don't remember. Yeah. Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is actually against their will. This person probably has a will of 3. They aren't anyone important or fancy.
Okay. All right. So I got falsehood 4 versus their 3.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try to fork in haggling.
Yes.
Just because like that's clearly what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I could.
So here's the thing that's true about falsehood. You can always fork in persuasion.
Can I? Okay. I will be doing that then for sure. A fork in persuasion. I'm going to give this guy a soft story about like it's not, and I'll probably it's going to meander, right? It's going to be. I'm going to start walking with him with the clipboard, with the like glass of wine, with the bottle. I'm bringing the bottle with me, right? And
That's how we know you're classy.
and I'll yeah, and I'll be like holding the glass in one hand, like pointing with the hand that's got the bottle in it. Be like, so over on that range, there's these special like elf grapes,
Singing grapes.
singing
Because it's
grapes.
the
There you
echoing
go.
valley.
Oh yes, yes, and those are going to be an excellent vintage when they finally come in. Although that's years out. I mean, we're talking probably elves. Things with elves grow very slowly, so it'll be a very long time. Over here, we have some grapes that are ready, but we need to process them, and obviously, I can't sell just the grapes. So I have to look. All of this I'm drinking the whole time, and like all the way through. Sorry, go ahead.
It just sounds like you're making a case for also forking in grape-wise.
Yeah, grape-wise or wine tasting or something, just like baffling this guy with bullshit about grapes.
I mean, grape-wise and vintner seem like the forks for that, right?
Okay.
If he
Okay.
was drinking the wine and you're like, do you also taste the elderberry notes? Or like, do you taste the elven song or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Then I think wine tasting, but
I love the idea that I'm like pretending to make elf wine because elf wine is actually a thing.
I mean, you're also a like 5-die vintner, so you're not a bad winemaker, right? Like you're
I'm not a terrible vendor, yeah.
yeah.
Also, I like herbalize the wine somehow, right?
Herbalized.
I herbalize the grapes.
That's
On the way
mulled wine.
Infused,
it is.
infused with sage or whatever.
I know it is, but I don't know. Like I know it is, but does Indiso know it is?
Indiso
Like, is
has
Indi-
grape-wise and wine tasting and vintner.
Is Indy going to be
5.
selling mold thing? Like, is that going to happen? All right. So modifiers. What am I looking at? None.
I'm thinking, well, no, like 3 or 4 at this
Okay.
point. How many things are you fork? Well, here's the other thing, though. The more things you fork in, the easier this test gets, the less valuable it is as experience, right?
Well, is it ob 3?
Yeah.
Well, I start with falsehood 4,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to start
I think
routine or below, right?
I think it starts at. It might start at difficult. Let's do test difficulty. 3 is difficult.
Oh, well then, yeah. Then I will. I can just pull that up. That's awesome. Okay. So 3 remains. 3 is difficult only if it's a 4. Only if I just straight lie to this dude. Okay.
Yeah. And if you do all the forking and whatnot, then the test gets a lot easier, but also less valuable, which is just like, yeah, if you want to learn something, you have to take on a couple impossible challenges.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to straight lie to him then.
Okay.
Because I can actually afford to pay the taxes, so we'll see how this goes.
Sure.
Artha spending none. Base ob is 3.
Do we get a success? Drum roll.
It's this group, and now.
I got a success. No, wait. That was before I actually started playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Did
the
it
test
not go
rolls.
anywhere? What just happened?
There might be another yes to click.
Window.
No.
Click submit a bunch of times.
I did. I did click submit a bunch of times.
Try again.
Try again. We will still try again. So, going back to falsehood. No modifiers. No Artha. Base obstacle 3. Submit. Nail
Oh
it.
my god, you won.
3 6s.
3 6s and a
Nailed it.
5. Yeah.
They are never coming back for my taxes.
Yeah, he looks you up and down and he's like, I'm so sorry, you are in remarkable spirits for someone who's, are you going to be okay the coming winter? And like extends a hand to like put on your arm. In like a
I will-
gesture of genuine sympathy.
I would like bow my head a little bit and sort of like, yeah, no, you got me. And I try to keep my spirits high because I mean, otherwise this is never going to work. So, and I have a duty to the Empire to produce the best wines possible. So, obviously, we have to keep trying and moving. So, I appreciate your sympathy. Hopefully, someday soon, I will be able to contribute my patriotic dues to the Empire. This is simply not that year, unfortunately.
You piece of shit. I love it. Oh my god, it's a difficult test. You put it in routine.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Must have credit. Must get credit. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I love the idea. This is like the cold open on Indy. So like the thing that we learned about him first is that he like has the tax man wrapped around his finger.
Is a lying cheat to the fucking the tax man. Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, he's like, well, I mean, I don't make much, like government stipend and all, and like wiggles the books again, like that's kind of like the gesture this guy does. He's like, but listen, if times get tough, sometimes the wife makes a little extra stew. Like, you can come by, and like gives you his address or something, or like lets you know of like a good soup kitchen in town or something, right? Like,
Nice. This is thank you. I appreciate your concern and generosity. I do. Please tell your wife that her generosity is appreciated as well. And on the glorious day that I begin to turn any sort of at this place, you and I will share the first bottle of wine.
Ash keep you, sir. Like,
you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you as well.
Yeah, and like turns and like you hear him mutter something to himself on his way out, just like, what a brave like something like what a brave like example to us all sort of thing, right? Like, very much the like keep calm and carry on type of guy. Good. Awesome. Love it.
So I'll like finish the bottle and then walk back into like the
count your money.
Area. Yeah, exactly. Like where there's just like a pile of money.
I'll show you a soup kitchen. I'll have my own soup kitchen with wine.
And I'll call it Indiso's, and it'll be a bar.
I also imagine that like this place is still staffed by half-orcs.
I mean, again, not fully. Like there were but
like yeah, like these are all like there probably wouldn't have been a ton of turnover. There might have been some, but not like a ton. So like these are all people that knew the last person, and I'm like the polar opposite and like the worst guy.
So are you actually shitty to your employees?
I don't think I am. I think that like I was around when people got fucking poisoned by the help.
Yeah.
I would know better than that.
Well, and like, I mean, to that guy, you were like, hey, do you want a glass of wine? Like, so like, I imagine you're like remarkably convivial with your employees as well. You just like also stared down your former employer or person what owned this place.
Like, was that guy a dick and I'm better somehow? Like, I'm like the weird folk hero.
Or you're just like less abrasive than they were, right? Like, you know, maybe they were like Gray Shade actually making actual ass elf wine, and you're just like the kind of lovable screw up, relatively speaking. I also just singing wine, like you uncork a bottle of elf wine and like a tune wafts out to go with the. And instead of,
I really like the idea that I'm like half just like taking their skill and like their grapes that still exist and like their people that know what the fuck they're doing with the elf wine, right? But also like I'm part elf, so maybe I can make it work. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Margareta, what are you up to 2 weeks later?
Well, I'm trying to I mean, so the old guard is kind of like falling apart, right? Yeah, not guard in Little World, but like the old court.
Yep.
Has sort of fallen out, and like the dwarf aligned usurperish folks are on their way in. So I'm going to be trying to.
Well, and like part of it is the like the Upper Argent court, like the Upper Argent faction, need the. Excuse me, I would like to stop hiccuping silently. Need to like get legitimacy from the like former court, and so like they're buying it. Essentially, they're buying it from the old court, but
yeah, they're trying to there was something specific that they were doing. I can't remember now.
They were keeping like the royal family, like the Duke's family or whatever the like administration family was. They were keeping
Like
them
besotted.
basically just They were just keeping them incredibly bribed, functionally.
Right. So I'm probably going to be trying to trace back who's doing those bribes, and then
Okay.
entering the good graces of whoever is doing those, so that if/when the court power largely changes hands, still a fixture therein.
Sure. Okay. So like you've tracked a bribe or a messenger. Actually, do you want to start tracking a bribe or messenger? Like
Yeah. So like we can start with, outside of a brew house, right, or a brew garden, or like whatever the equivalent of wine for haughty, educated people are, or not noble people are, as opposed to.
well, it's like a fancy party at a villa, right? Like
Right.
it's a mid-afternoon, early spring. There's probably like some like elven, then dwarven interpreted, and then human reinterpreted festival of like spring, like the coming of spring, functionally.
And there's like folks there playing like instruments and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I'm there and I'm like casually trying to discuss who's throwing the party for the
Okay.
the princeling, right? Well, whoever this person is. Who is this person? Do we need to bring this person? That is the subject of the party, I guess, right? Because this is the party is there to keep them away from the court.
Okay. So you're trying to. So this sounds like either you're talking to someone, or you're just like being. Like it sounds like it's either inconspicuous or observation. It feels like.
I think I'm trying to pry the information out of them.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to try the direct approach first. If that fails, then I'll skulk around the shadows.
Okay. Let's see about interrogation, because I think that might be at like knife point.
Oh, I hope not. That was my social skill.
I mean, falsehood is a very useful social skill. Oh, I'm in traits. Whoops. There is a playwright skill. I love that.
No, this is the game for
Mm-hmm.
for carpenters. It is 278.
Thank you. I forgot how the alphabet worked. Interrogation is use of peculiar logic. Interrogators get information from unwilling subjects. Successful means they've given up. Okay.
Yeah. I think that
I
works
mean,
with that.
soothing platitudes can be used in interrogation, so it can be at things other than knife point. So yeah.
Information from unwilling subjects. So, like, I think that what I'm doing is I'm getting this guy just increasingly drunk,
Okay.
and trying to get him to open up, not like lying to him or whatever. I'm getting him like remarkably drunk, and then I'm saying like, this is your power base eroding in front of you.
Okay.
You can tell me what's going. Like, once I know that he's past the point of remembering this, we're here. You're drinking away your power and your future and your children's future.
Oh, to like one of the nobles, not one of the other faction, like one of the locals.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can either tell me, who's throwing this party for you, or I'm going to give you another glass of wine and ask again.
That is some
You're not
ugly
really
ass
positioned
truth.
to refuse.
That is absolutely some ugly ass truth. Or I mean, you're forking ugly truth into interrogation, but yeah, I mean, you tell me which tack you're going.
I was trying to fork ugly truth into interrogation.
Then absolutely, you did that thing. And you're just feeding this dude wine.
Right? Yeah, like part of me thinks I glued the cup to his hand.
Great, thanks. You're horrible. Cool. So, interrogation is against will. I mean, again, this person's probably just will 3. Like some minor noble outside the court, and you're trying to what do you get on success?
I want to know who the people that I want to name.
Okay.
I want the name of the person that I can go visit, and then schmooze, charm, blackmail, bribe, infiltrate. Get information about.
Okay. So you need you're looking for a lead. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's ob 3 because it's their will. Falsehood is definitely a thing you can fork in here. Probably bribe-wise, because you're at least asking about bribes.
Is falsehood like a? Well, no, I'm not actively trying to get information out of someone.
Sorry, ugly truth, not falsehood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so in forking in is 1 die.
Yeah, you get 1 die for applicable skills. And then if the skill is 7 or higher, then you get 2. If there's anything else you want to put in here.
And that's under modifier, right?
Yes. Yes, you're ob 3 with +2 dice, so 5 on 3 is probably a routine. Yeah, that's routine. Yes.
Unsuccessful.
You rolled steel?
Shit. It was on interrogation.
Okay.
Modifier 2. Obstacle 3.
There you go.
Still good.
4.
Still got it. I mean, you got more success, or yeah.
How did I roll 76 on steel? Because my modifier is shit. Okay, yeah.
Well, your modifiers, and then because steel is a stat, not a skill,
But it explodes.
6 is explode.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
So on your 7 dice, you actually rolled 9. But yeah, that's a commanding roll. I mean, a person deep in their cups, I think they start sobbing, and they're like, "It's the Duke's just here to line his pockets. If you're looking for the person who's the real the trope here is the vizier, right?
Right. The power behind the throne.
Yeah. Which I'm assuming is the person you're looking for. They don't work directly. If you want into the into the Minister of Taxation Affairs, if you want into this network, they're always looking for runners. They're always looking for the sods who can be bought and who can be convinced to pretend to serve people like me wine, to bow and scrape, and quite frankly, my dear, I think you're perfectly well suited to it, and goes to cheers you, but you don't have a cup.
Right.
And just and my dear, I salute your gumption.
Oh,
Someone
this is
should
the
have.
most valuable thing you've done in months.
I roll an ugly truth because you totally just ugly truthed him.
Apparently, one of my instincts is to taunt the locals.
Listen. That's not a bad. It's not a bad. It's not a bad instinct to have.
It's definitely one that will get you into trouble.
Yeah, which gets you a bunch of fate. Which gets you a bunch of Artha, which gets you... Anyways. Stating the obvious or worst possible outcome. I think this is an ugly truth. It's not a complex political situation. I think this is an ugly truth.
The opposite of...
Okay. Well, and he's like, well, and frankly, my dear... I don't give a damn.
Right. I'm drunk and you suck.
Or like,
Piss off.
well, yeah, like I'm drunk and you pour like an elf.
And smell like a dwarf. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Like smell like an elf and look like a dwarf or something. Like some actually like racist thing that like
Right.
locals say.
Right.
And like spits on the ground, which turns into like falling over onto the ground.
Oh, he's so pathetic, but I kind of want to stab him.
And he's just making a scene. Stabbing him is a very good way to improve your sword skill because guards will come.
We're gonna grind it. We're grinding sword.
Yeah, I'm probably not armed.
Probably not. Also, I've just realized it's past midnight for y'all. And this game is engrossing as hell, and I didn't realize. So let's do end of session stuff. Which is resolve people's beliefs and award fate. So Margareta, did you work on, like, make some progress on any of your beliefs or complete any of your beliefs?
I did not kill the tax collector. I have not yet gained access to the usurper's ledgers, but I am working on getting inserted into the usurper's court.
Cool. So that's one fate. Did any of your instincts get you in trouble?
No.
Okay. Did any of your traits get you in trouble? I don't think so.
No.
Also, you have all those character traits that we worked on session 0. So you were also prideful, violent, and a traditionalist. Or at least that's what people think you are. So if you choose to let those get you in trouble, prideful for snapping back at a guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
So yeah, probably another fate there.
Where do we have prideful, violent traditionalist?
They're on the Roll20 thing in the notes I wrote. Second column. The we're occupied, and then down a paragraph is local, city cultural traits.
Okay, gotcha. And where do I record the 2 fates that I just got?
So they go, in Artha. You also had 1 to start with, so you've got a total of 3 now.
Do I have a persona or deeds to start with?
No. Those you gotta work for.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Fate's great, too, honestly, if you can turn a bunch of your D6s into exploding. And Diso, did you progress any of your beliefs?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'll come up with a dream between now and next session, or more reasonably 5 minutes into the next session.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can, like, point you in a direction based on what we're learning here.
Okay.
And probably tie you closer to, like, it's going to be a dream about either getting in good with the, with Magnus, or getting in good with, Margareta, or somehow both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just to tie the 3 of you together. Did any of your instincts get you in trouble?
Not really.
Okay. Any of your traits get you in trouble?
Nothing got me in trouble. Is the thing. Like there was no trouble.
Well, I mean, there wasn't trouble, but they could have made life more difficult for you.
I mean, like,
I don't think Off Kilter like worked against you, but it didn't do you any favors. But you were definitely playing it up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give you 1 fate for that.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take fate.
And Magnus. God, that first
Yes.
one. Your first belief is so good. You didn't accomplish any beliefs, but definitely work towards one of them.
Yeah, tried to work towards that merchant guild.
Mm-hmm.
Restore restoration.
Yeah, so that's 1 fate there. Did any of your instincts get you into trouble?
No.
Okay. Any of your traits?
I mean, I tried to play towards tradition,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't seem to backfire.
I mean, would you say pride? Yeah, either tradition or pride. I'd think one of those two of you.
Both of them, I think. But...
Yeah, I mean, you can take 2.
Okay.
So 3 fate for you. Cool. So I've got some homework to do. It's past midnight for the rest of y'all, and I feel sorry for keeping you this long.
No, don't. This is fun.
Yeah,
It was. I'm having a blast. Apparently, I've also been missing a bunch of chat, but that's. I'm too focused on the game, which is probably where my focus should be.
That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. We're still that D&D podcast. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, comment on YouTube, meme us on Tumblr. This is going weird places. We have a Patreon. You can also subscribe on Twitch Prime and give us some of Bezos' money. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. Do we have an interview?
I believe so. Yes, we have Tracy blanking on last name because it's after midnight. Yes, we do have an interview, though.
We have an interview tomorrow, so come back at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern tomorrow, and we'll have an interview. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, then go watch that interview also on YouTube, probably. But yeah, we've been that D&D podcast. I'm rambling. Have a very good and lovely evening, everybody.
Night, Internet.
Good evening.